Evening, everybody, and welcome to OOR's Sprint Series Split Yellow at ZANDVOORT. On comms tonight, you have myself, George Sicadius, and accompanying in the booth with me is Aidan Squires. How you going, Aidan?
I'm doing very well, and I'm looking at what I'm seeing on the screen, and what I'm seeing is a lot of rain. I can barely even see the cars going around the track, so if this rain continues on, it's going to be a very wet night ahead of us.
Absolutely. So tonight's format is obviously a 60-minute race, no pit stops, so it's fill it up to the top and go for the full hour.
I guess the good thing about it being wet is that the tyre wear is not going to be as much of a factor as it is in the dry. This track is pretty hard on tyres, and I think most people who were doing practice for this sprint race were a little bit concerned about having to run 1 hour without pitting on one set of tyres, especially around this track as the tyres get chewed up pretty quickly and get pretty hot. But seeing as it's this wet, if it's going to maintain this into the race, I guess they won't really have to worry about that tyre wear anymore, because they're just going to be driving around in a puddle. So we'll see the Aston Martin of Liam Hamilton go to the top already. That is someone we expect to be right at the top of his game, especially in the Aston Martin, known for being one of, if not the quickest car in these sort of conditions. So currently 9 tenths up from Lim in the McLaren. Obviously Lim not a pro driver like Liam. We'll see where the other pros stack up against him tonight, but I think Hamilton is definitely going to have a strong chance in this one.
Yes, definitely. I mean, obviously he's been driving very well lately as well. So when it comes to the cars around here, in your opinion, what is the best car in the wet around here? I mean, obviously you've done a fair bit more racing around here. They're all coming through slowly. Once they start getting another lap and you get enough heat, what do you think is the best car around here?
In the wet, yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with the Aston, just because it's got such good traction control that you can just plant the foot and the car will drive out the corner a lot better than some other cars. The Porsche here, as we're watching Gordon Wesley, is quite agile. It's got a really good front end, but that doesn't necessarily translate in the wet, as it can just cause you to have big oversteer moments. I believe we saw Wesley have one of those earlier on in the lap, and it's quite a handful to tame. So I think Hamilton will, as we see the Porsche drifting it through the final corner, I think Hamilton will have a pretty good advantage. Vettiger is behind him in the Ford, but 7 tenths off. Now, I am a Ford driver and I've done some practice in the wet, and I can tell you from first-hand experience, as Wesley goes only 0.01 behind Hamilton, but as we see Hamilton 7 tenths up, the track is going to slightly improve as more and more cars circulate. But yeah, the Ford does struggle a bit here, and Vettiger, who has been Hamilton's closest contender recently, is probably going to struggle. The Ford doesn't really like turning, and it doesn't really like getting traction, both things that are absolutely vital for wet performance. So yeah, I think he's going to be struggling a bit as we watch Lim right on the edge of grip, just sliding it, going down that back straight. He's also put in a decent lap. As I say that, he's gone off the track onto the sand, and there's also a Porsche right in front of him. I think he's going to have to back out of this one and go again on the next lap.
Yes. Like I said, I was supposed to be in this race tonight. I'm actually glad that I've sitting this one out. Doesn't mean I get wet tonight. Here we've got Vettiger. He's up by 0.5 to try to close the gap up. There is still a fair gap to, obviously, Hamilton and Wesley there. Can he just get a good run out of here, get a good drive out of there, and just increase the time? He's maintaining it at 0.4. That will sort of definitely keep him into that top 3 spot.
He's lost a good 1/10.5 there. Just as I said, the Ford just doesn't want to turn in these sort of conditions. As soon as he gets to this more heavy sort of wet conditions, it's like driving the Titanic. It just does not turn. As Raupi, again, struggling with the traction. He's very brave running TC3. I would not be doing that myself, as we see the car just absolutely just drifting around everywhere as he tries to get some semblance of traction. He's currently 2 seconds off the pace, so Gareth, if you're listening, I recommend turning your TC up, mate. I think you're trying to run it a little bit too low for these conditions, but it's obviously his choice. We'll see if he can put in a better lap, but also quite a few pros down sort of in this 10. We've got Rondinello, Raupi and Bartoletti, so yeah, clearly a few people just struggling to find their feet a bit in this heavy wet conditions.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many people have been practicing. He's coming out of the last corner now. Yeah, he's just the big slide there again.
Yeah.
If anyone knows this sport is going to be you, Aiden, that's for certain because you've driven this on on all tracks. So
look, yeah, it is. You can have the odd slide, but when you're hanging on for dear life like that, I think you got to choose life at some point, because he's going to end up getting spat off the track, and yeah, it's not going to last very long, I'll say that much.
No, and track position on this track is crucial. It's very, very hard to overtake. This is probably one of the harder tracks to overtake. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, 100%. There's really only one overtaking spot, which is T1. And that obviously requires you to follow someone quite closely through the fast final corner, which is also quite difficult. So, yeah, really only one overtaking spot. This track is more suited to strategy races, but in these sort of conditions, I guess that kind of brings its own strategy into it, just because it's not just dry running, it's wet running, and you get punished a lot harder in the wet, you know, just slight mistake, like coming into this banked corner of that is the wrong track map. That's the old Eclipse. My apologies. We're coming into the bank corner of turn 2 or 3, really. Oh my gosh, vertigo. Yeah. That just shows us what the conditions are. You know, just small mistakes like that will really just take away your lap time, or in the race, you know, a mistake like that and you don't catch the slide, that's pretty much your race over. So yeah, a lot less margin for him.
He looks like he's doing a bit of Colin McRae there. You can see that he's trying to get the power down. He's got TC 3 or 4 on there, and you can see he's just sliding it everywhere. It's hard to get grip out there, and obviously it's not going to be easy for anyone out there getting optimal tyre temperatures and all that. How are we going here? We've got Murphy. He's up by 0.4. Hopefully he doesn't lose a bit of time. Hopefully he can get the traction out of the corner. It's maintaining. Yes, he's got it back. It's hovering about that a half a second. Yep.
Yeah, running the curbs in the wet, not quite something you want to do if you have the choice, but it looks like he's really hanging on to it. So credit to him there. As we run through, I have got the track map up, but I'm not going to bother pronouncing any of these corner names because they're all completely unspeakable in Dutch. So
he's coming out of turn 12 at the moment.
This is well, this next one's okay, but the final one is Ari Luyendich Klok, something like that.
Murphy's actually increased his time. He's up 0.9. It's actually increasing on the way out. He's up to second on his Delta at the moment, which is, great driving. He's obviously collected it. What position to put in? He's jumping up a bit into P3. Well done.
So, yeah, we're seeing the Porsche drivers really excel in these conditions because the car is such a strong front end, where a lot of these other ones really just can't turn well enough in the wet, like the Ford here. We're watching it kind of just understeer and glide around a lot. You get understeer on entry and then oversteer on exit, whereas the Porsche has a bit stronger of a front end, so you can kind of guide the car a little bit more through these sort of conditions, as we're seeing Vertigo. He's pretty brave on the TT as well. He's running it pretty low. He's trying to take that narrow line to just try to get as straight as drive as possible, so he doesn't have to turn. Even then,
slide.
Yeah, he's drifting the whole corner. I've done this in the dry, so imagine what it's like doing it in the wet. It's very easy to get big slides through a lot of these, especially for the midfield sector. So that is Vertigo's final lap done as the clock ticks down to 0. So right now we're looking at a pretty all over the place top of the grid here. Some big names a little bit further down than usual, with certain cars struggle a bit more in the wet.
Yeah, that's definitely finished on them. Most cars, we'll see what happens if anyone's improving, but it looks like Hamilton's going to have this one in the bag. I can't see anyone really toppling him off first place here.
Nick Donk in the chat saying every car except mine is terrible. I don't know if he's referring to that as just a racing driver excuse, or the fact that he's driving that fun, which does seem to be quite good here. So Yeah, if it rains tomorrow, I think Chris is going to have it pretty easy in my split. So hopefully it doesn't rain and we all stand a chance. But it's Chris Cooley. I don't think we're going to have a chance either way. As John Rad 3/10 up, crosses the line. He's going to gain a few positions here. Only 2. And Cameron Thistleway all the way down in 18th. I don't believe Cam has done much wet practice from memory, and the Lexus is certainly not a drivable car, especially in these conditions. So, yeah, another name who's normally close to the top of the grid, a little bit further down.
Yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag. It's definitely a mixed bag here tonight. I mean, the weather's always a equaliser. So as they're finalising, there's one more car to come around to see how he's going. But yeah, the weather's definitely a very good equaliser here. And he's just crossed right, and there you go. We've got our top 10. So let's go through the top 10. If we can just scroll to the top to be able to read it properly. We definitely know that Liam Hamilton is definitely in first place. Wesley's in second. Murphy's in third. Vinegar in fourth. Rondonella in fifth. Piper in sixth. Lynn in seventh. Vintner in 8th, Rigby's in 9th, and yeah, Pro-Am, Kyle Billett in 10th. Well done.
So if memory serves me correctly, this is definitely by far the furthest Harry Murphy has ever been up the grid. Yeah, in terms of position, I don't think he's ever really been inside of the top 5 in this split at least. So lots of pressure for the people that aren't regulars up the top, as well as Wesley Yao, obviously. When you're up there for the first time, as most of us can attest, it's quite intimidating, as you have lots of fast people around you, and there's lots of opportunity to completely screw up and lose all your position and your hard work. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure for the guys up the front. Maybe a little bit less pressure for people who've qualified a little bit further back, and they can kind of do the race their own way. As that's, I believe that's Ben Piper in the Mercedes.
Yeah. So, some of these liveries are fantastic, and the amount of time and effort it takes to actually do these liveries is a lot of hard work. I've tried to do it myself, and I find it a little bit daunting. And some of these, the amount of work that's gone into them is just fantastic. It definitely make a grid a lot more colourful as well. That's Andy Bishop on the right, 89. Next to Andy there on the left is McKellar in the Lexus.
I've also noticed quickly that the track, it's not raining right now, obviously, so the track is wet. Everyone, I presume, is going to start on wets, but it's not raining at the moment, so the first few laps might be a little bit less rain. So maybe some cars that are a little bit better in the slightly less flooded state will be a little bit better. But obviously once that medium to heavy rain comes down, then we're probably going to settle back into an order that resembles qualifying. Although I hope, seeing as the weather is variable, we do have a little bit of variation in the rain, or maybe it stops or something like that, as it is 1 hour. We do know that ACC weather can be very much all over the place, but it also can be very repetitive. So it's really just a roll of the dice. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, look, I can see it just on the map there a little bit. It says rain intense, so obviously it's not raining at the moment, but it does say in 30 minutes it's plus, so it could get heavier. So obviously it's going to be the key right at the start, and visibility is not going to be good too, especially if you're in the mid-pack. It's going to be horrendous, especially going into turn 1. So obviously we're in our warm-up lap here. They're going to try to generate as much heat as they can into their tyres, and especially into the brakes, because obviously grip is paramount here, and the more temperature you can get into them, so they'll be riding their brakes to generate all that heat. Taking it nice and easy. Some people, depending on it's only one strategy, just go to the end. Some of them might take a little bit less fuel because they know the pace is down a little bit. Every kilo of fuel that you save in the car is no difference to a real race in Formula 1 or GT3 or anything like that. Every kilo less means that you get that little bit quicker and makes the car a little bit more stable as well.
Yeah, look, I think this race for pretty much everyone but Hamilton is just going to be survival. We know that Liam's pretty consistent and fast, and from qualifying he was, I think, 7/10 quicker than everyone else. So he should pretty much drive away from everyone considering he survives lap 1 and P1. But yeah, for the people like Yao, Murphy, Bettiger, Rondinella, and the rest of the grid, I mean, watching their quali laps, it's just going to be survival. They were kind of all over the place and really holding on for dear life. So I assume they're going to run higher TC and try to make the car a little bit more drivable for the race. Obviously, you don't want to just spin off and crash on lap 2, but you know, it's still difficult. It's very easy to lose concentration and end up on the wall here. So yeah, it's going to be a race of survival.
Okay, as they're getting up to do their formation 2x2, what is your predictions for turn 1 in the wet with the spray?
I said before the race that there was going to be no safety car. I'm going to stick to that. I know it's bold. I'm going to stick to no safety car. There might be 1 or 2 incidents, but I'm going to say no safety car, and everyone kind of sorts themselves out because it's wet. They know to be a little bit more cautious. Come on, guys. Prove me right here.
Prove me right. All right, I'm going to let you take over now and call the first lap, and good luck.
Yeah, hopefully my my prediction comes true. So now lining up 2x2 along the grid box, lots of spray coming up from the cars as they drive down the main straight here. Take it nice and easy, guys. It's a 1 hour race. You don't need to go too hard. Race start's been initialized. We're going to get ready to go. Green, 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 and away they go. You see that Aston Martin already gets an excellent jump. The Ford of Vettiger just can't really go anywhere. There's a big dive from Ralphie in the back there. They're going 3 wide, a few rows back. They seem to have made it through though. See what I said? Everyone's taking it fairly sensible. Into turn 1 here, just because of the spray. Lim's gone very hot, just pulls it up. There is a little bit of side-by-side action going further down the grid as they head into the big bank corner of T3 here. Side-by-side action still. Yeah, great views. Side-by-side action. We expect that though on lap 1. We've seen a couple moves for position. Rondinella, I saw, made quite a big dive into T1 to gain some positions on people being a little bit cautious. So I think he might be up 1 or 2 positions, but in general, no safety car so far. So that's a pretty good start in my opinion as they head down into the tricky middle sector of sector 2. Now this is where it is much easier to have a big moment or get on the grass and have a bit of an incident here. So we'll see if everyone can make it through nice and safe. We've got Bank in the Porsche, our lone AM driver in the top 20, so he's doing pretty well, but he is in the Porsche, which should give him an advantage through this sector, especially with the car like the Lexus in front, which really doesn't have any advantages on this track. It's got all its cars in the top speed, and unfortunately the track just doesn't have that at all. So we'll see if that super cheap auto car starts to struggle in these sort of conditions. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be a clean lap 1 as Hamilton already has a 1.6 second gap over Wesley Yao.
Yeah, so it looks like obviously the start as well, no one's really lost too many positions. Everyone pretty much kept their positions in check, and there you go. Liam with a Hamilton with a 1:45.887, and yes, he is actually pulling away. He's up to 2.5 seconds just in that one lap, so he's going to build himself a bit of a buffer and obviously drive to a pace that's going to keep him consistent. Again, it is an hour race, and you don't want to make any mistakes. Mistakes on a 1 hour race with no pit stops it does hurt a fair bit. Now we're looking at McCullough here with the Lexus. He's still maintaining it there. There's a bit of a train going on there. And again, the only way to overtake here is be close enough to a bit of a clip.
It's going to pay Dario. For exit here, luckily the McLaren has amazing aero, so he was able to hold on to it in that high speed section.
Yeah, and the McLaren around here, or the Macca as most of us call it, is a pretty good car around here as well. But yeah, McCullough's trying to put a lot of pressure on him, get nice and close, and hopefully, try to force an error, because it's the only way you overtake on this track, is to keep it nice and cloak. And obviously, Walsh as well is trying to get in there, and Bank and Bishop, they're all just waiting. They're being patient. It is early. It's 56 minutes to go, or actually 57 minutes to go.
Walsh should have got a wiggle. Yeah, Walsh,
turn 11, turn 12.
Walsh is a pretty quick driver, and he's going to get a little bit frustrated being stuck behind this Lexus, I have a feeling. He's very quick in this Ferrari, and the Ferrari not too bad in the wet either. And people in the chat saying this is far too sensible, there's not enough carnage, and this is kind of what I said before. It's when it's wet, people tend to take things quite a bit more sensible. So, as we're seeing some good camera angles of some sliding there, but yeah, in terms of big dive bombs and stuff, people generally take the first lap quite sensible in these sort of conditions. But also something, yeah, side by side, McKellar's just trying, but he just can't get through, stuck behind this McLaren right now. And I was just going to say, sorry to cut you off, that Yao is really being a cork in the bottle here for the people behind him. He's dropped almost more than 4.5 seconds already on Hamilton. And look, Hamilton's fast, but I don't think he's quite that fast. So I think Yao just struggling a little bit to get into a rhythm. And that is really slowing up the whole train of cars behind him, so much so that really it's a whole train up to P8 in this sort of group. So yeah, there might be some action here as people start to make moves in this train.
Yeah. Who's that, sorry? Yeah, he is. Yeah, he definitely looks like he's just holding him up a little bit, but at the same time, he might be pacing himself as well, not risking it a bit. He's got a little bit of a break there, enough not to have a lot of pressure on him compared to some of the other guys behind. And you can see it's actually started raining. It's from the start. It's actually starting to get heavier and heavier, which is going to make it a lot harder again to get close. But look, yeah, it was definitely just pulling a slight gap there. He's got enough breathing room there. It's not too much pressure on him.
Ralphie way out in the weeds. I'd like to see Ralphie's on board if we can. I want to see what traction control he's running, because if he's doing his usual thing of running minimum traction control here, it's going to be pretty... It's 4 and 3. It's not too bad. That's still quite low, especially with this spray and stuff. It's pretty brave. We'll see him going through T3. See how much correcting he has to do. It's quite smooth in the first 2 corners, but the middle sector's where you really start to see the
big snap there.
Yeah, that's just normal Ford things. Every Ford driver's used to doing that. But yeah, we'll see in this sector 2 how much he really has to work this car. There's also, this spray is just absolutely terrible. You just can't see what's going on in front of you, which makes it very scary, especially in a train, because if there's any sort of concertina effect, you're just going straight in the back of the person in front, and there's not much you can do about it. And Vintner in the Aston as well. I think Vintner hasn't done too much practice here from what I've seen, so maybe just struggling a little bit in the Aston, as we see Hamilton obviously has very much got to grips with that car, but maybe Vintner not quite as much as this train continues on. And that's the first 7 minutes of the race done, and I don't think there's been any incidents we've seen.
No, there hasn't been at all. They've all been pretty good, and look, they've actually closed up on Yao again. He must have made a mistake. But coming on the front straight, if they can get a good run on here, turning out, make sure there's no understeer. But the Porsche definitely does have a good front end, so it allows you to turn really well compared to, say, the Ford or especially the Nissan that I drive. It tends to understeer a fair bit. That would be a little bit difficult around there. I think the McLaren's generally not too bad. Going into turn 1, nice and smooth, just power out. Let's see how he's on throttle. But yeah, the Porsche looks like its back end is helping him pretty well here, getting some good drive. And definitely going into turn 3, well, they call that turn 3, but it's the big hairpin, or big hairpin, big bank corner and normal F1, heading down to 7.
Yeah, Vettiger had a look there into T1. He definitely poked the nose up and definitely gave Wesley something to think about, because I think Vettiger is a little bit quicker. He just can't get the move manufactured as Wesley Yao, very wide. That's going to allow Murphy to have a look, but again, lots of looks but not much actual commitment here. I did see a yellow flag, something definitely happened within the last half a lap down the back of the grid. As we can't even see Hamilton anymore. He's gone as, yeah, very wide again. The Porsche not pulling up. Yeah, but I think he should have the drive off the corner here. Maybe they're going to run side by side into the chicane, possibly, which is quite difficult to do. Yeah, just pulling in ahead. But again, all this is doing is slowing up this train even more than it already has been. And yeah, I feel like something is inevitably going to go bang here. Whether it's between the leaders or the cars fighting in the grid, because whenever you have a big train stacked up like this, oh, that's Lim way wide out on the sand. As I was just saying, Lim's just gone.
Vettel's got a good run on the Porsche. Yeah,
he does have a decent run here. But the Porsche also has a decent run on. Yeah, we might see a three-way battle for T1. There goes Harry Murphy down the inside into T1. Harry's got that move done, but he runs very, very wide. Vertiger's trying to get him on the inside. They're going to run side by side now into T2. This is not somewhere where you can really run side by side. Vertiger thinks better of it and slips behind Yao, but Harry Murphy, the biggest loser from that. He's gone down a position. Good attempt from him into T1, but just couldn't quite pull it up with the Porsche in the wet. Sometimes the ABS of the Porsche doesn't like it when you go too hot into the corner, and it just really freaks out. So he just couldn't get it quite pulled up, and now Vertiger is in prime position here for an attack on Yao. This is where he's wanted to be all race. I think he's had the pace, he just hasn't quite been in position to actually launch an attack. And while Yao is kind of flustered, it seems Vertiger seems to be really putting the pressure on him.
Yeah, and also looks like that forward, it's not sort of sideways dancing or anything like that. It looks like he's probably changed his driving side to get a very good drive out of the corners now. Oh, there goes Murphy, just
Harry
right again.
Yeah. It's very easy to do, and Breno did mention in the chat the rain has started coming down heavier now, so it's quite difficult for the drivers because they started on a track that was faster than this. It was raining a lot less at the start of the race, so now the pace is actually dropping off, which is completely different to what you'd expect. Obviously, you'd expect the pace to come up a bit as the drivers circulate more and the water is moved off the track, but in fact, it's the complete opposite. And yeah, I think Lim as well, yeah, he's gone down a decent amount, just struggling a little bit as Vertiger is going to have a decent run here. Yeah, he's going to, I don't know if he's going to be quite close enough for an attack, especially if Yao decides to defend. No, he's too far back here. He's going to think better of it. I think he's just going to, and there goes Yao. I was just going to say, all he needs to do is wait for Yao to make a mistake, which from what we've seen so far, it does seem like it was pretty likely, and he didn't even need to really wait. Yao just drove too deep into turn one, as we've seen the Porsches do, just go in a bit too deep in some of these corners, just struggling to pull it up. And the Mustang, I will say, does have very good brakes, so as long as you can just plant your foot on that brake pedal in the right sort of zone, you should be pulling up pretty easy. And now Vertiger's through, but the bad news for Vertiger is that he's 9 seconds behind Hamilton. That's a big slide, yeah, but again, that's just Ford things, so Vertiger's definitely used to that by now. So 9 seconds the gap between Hamilton and Vertiger, so I dare say, so long as Hamilton keeps it on the track, I don't think Vertiger's going to be pulling that back. So in a way, you know, Vertiger has won, but he's also lost as being part of this train. And there goes Ron Danilo trying to look for something up the inside of Murphy, but just can't get the power down in that McLaren.
Yeah, the push has definitely got a good acceleration out of the corner. I'm struggling to get past him at the distance sometimes, and if he gets the power to the ground, it makes it a little bit difficult. But like I said, if you have a look at Vertiger, he waited, he caused the other guys to make some mistakes, which is obviously Murphy and Yao. And that's the way you got to do it. You just got to be close enough. Oh, looks like Murphy's getting a bit of a run on Yao again to go down into the front straight. Let's see if who can pull it up better into turn one. He's getting a good run. He's definitely tucked in behind him. He's pulling out under brakes. Can Yao pull it up? No. Murphy, did he keep it on the line? He's gone wide onto the dirt. He's going to lose a few positions there.
That is so easy to do, go wide into T1, especially we've seen before. And I was mentioning before the pressure of being so high up on the grid. You know, just it's so easy to make little mistakes like that. And I did also mention before, just little mistakes in the wet will cost you even more than in the dry. So just exactly like that, just running a little bit wide or not being able to gather up a slide. As now Vintner is going to try and make advantage of this. Oh, that's a great overtake by Vintner if he gets this done here, which I think he will.
He did.
Just
well
being
done.
very confident on that back straight. And Murphy, like I said, just maybe a little bit flustered just after dropping those positions and having all that pressure on him. He's just cracked a little bit, unfortunately. Obviously, props to him for putting his car that high up on the grid and lasting a good 15 minutes. But yeah, that's where the kind of difference you can see between pros and silvers in these sort of rates. The ability to withstand the pressure and the attack and just instantly put in the lap, which is what matters the most.
Yeah, but look, the one thing you can always take out of this, and it's being up there at the pointy end, is a good experience for him to learn his racecraft. It's all about racecraft.
Yeah, Rondell's past Yao, and I don't actually. Yeah, I think Yao possibly has made another mistake. Maybe we'll have to go back on the replay. So yeah, again, the Porsche, it is good, but very easy to make a mistake, and especially when you've got that pressure on you from a bunch of pro drivers behind. So Rondinella now moves into P3. That's a pretty good start to the race for him. I believe it's what, like P6 or something on the start, and he P4. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah.
So he's up to podium positions now. So still a pretty good effort by him.
This track's a unique track as well because there's tends to be a fair bit of pressure loss, but because obviously with the weather you're not going to get too much pressure loss out of your tyres because you can't run on the curbs, which will keep all the tyres in pretty good stead. Most people, suffer with a bit of pressure loss clipping the curbs. Oh, he's got a little bit sideways there. He's definitely putting the hammer down. You can also see it's actually closing up on Yao as well to put a bit more pressure on him to try to jump past him as well.
I have a feeling Vinton is going to try and get through on Yao as soon as possible if he wants to keep up with Rondinella.
Here we go. He's gone wide there and it's allowed him.
Is that T1 again?
No, that's T9. T9.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say T1 seems to be a pretty difficult place for these Porsches to get it pulled up, but no, it was a little bit later on in the lap. But yeah, Vintner putting the pressure on Yao in the background there. Obviously the Aston can get a pretty good drive to follow the Porsche out of the corners. We'll see if he can get anything done down into P1. It's also got a pretty good top end, that Aston, whereas the Porsche struggles a little bit, but I don't think it's going to come this lap. We'll see if he can pressure Yao into doing the same thing as he did before and going wide at P1. I don't think Yao's going to pull for it again though, or hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he's learned from his lesson and maintained. Yeah, he's got through P1 okay, but here we'll see really what the advantage is of the Aston on this Porsche here. Whoa, that slide just right up underneath that Porsche's rear end and just lost it. So easy to do when you're so close behind someone. You're not concentrating on what your car's doing, you're just trying to follow them as close as possible. And yeah, very easy to lose the car like that. We're going to see some alternate lines here as well. Yeah, just running it a little bit wide. We're seeing how much that Porsche is sliding, and Vincent is going to try the same move on Murphy. He didn't quite get it done, but he was trying to do the same thing. That seems to be a lot more stable coming down that back straight.
Yeah, definitely that on board with Vintner. You just see the spray. It's actually hard to get your braking points right there. And look, so far so good. There's not been too many yellow flags. Everyone's really been behaving and driving really well. I've been quite impressed with some of the standards out there, and the car control as well. They're getting a bit of a slide, and a few of them are actually running the curves a fair bit as well. So obviously a lot of them are either running TC high, but the cars seem to be working pretty well with these wet conditions, and a few of them must have sort of worked on their setups to make sure.
Yeah, it's very wide. Yeah, I just went extremely wide into that chicane. He barely made the apex there, so struggling a little bit still.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit, but that Porsche, even if you go a bit wide, will turn around there pretty good with the front end it's got, where obviously some other cars, especially the front engine cars like the Aston, go wide there, you are struggling. Oh, big slide there by Vintner. He's putting the pedal to the metal to see if he can get as much drive as he can out of there. That's great car control. It's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. I also noticed Alex Walsh has gone into the pits, so I don't know if he did get the memo or no. We're seeing the chat big incident for 113, so we'll have to get Glenn to have a look at that one. So obviously not a planned pit stop for Alex Walsh then. I was going to say I don't think he's looked quite at the format if he's gone into the pits. You don't really need to this race as long as it keeps raining like it does, which I think it will. There's no need to go into the pits, but yeah, Vintner just kind of stuck. Oh, there goes Rondinella. Rondinella's around. That's a big crash. He's going to have some hefty rear damage from that. Again, coming over that crest, he's going to lose quite a few positions here from that, or maybe not quite, but we'll see what damage he's going to have on that on the car. As yeah, you really need as much downforce as you can get in these sort of conditions, and especially with the McLaren, which is quite sensitive to its aero. We'll see if Rondinella is going to start struggling here, but that was I think he just lost it on that run up the hill where you're seeing the Porsche kind of get unstable. This is the Alex Walsh incident, going up the hill again. Oh, yep. Same, very similar thing to Ronda. Oh, no, is that Cam Thistleway? Who is that?
Yes, it is. It's Thistleway, yes. He just caught in the wrong place.
Cannot get a break, that man. Yeah, absolutely awful luck, says Glenn. And yeah, so maybe that's a similar thing to happen to what happened with Rondinella, just people getting loose coming up over that hill. That is a spot I will keep in mind for my race tomorrow, to be very careful, as he seems to be claiming quite a few lives, as Rondinella struggling now with this lack of downforce, I think.
A big slide from Ruffy.
If there's one thing that I know, though, is that he's the guy that can catch those, because I see him have them all the time, so there's nothing to worry about. He's got it all under control.
Oh, so it's a standard Ford thing, is it?
Yeah, very standard procedure, especially for him. I remember racing him in the finals, and I was watching him in the mirror, just always just absolutely loose. So I think it's just how he drives the car.
Lim on... no, that's McCullough. We're on with McCullough there, with Dario behind him? Yeah. I got past him, okay. Yeah, I thought it was a bit strange because that looked like Lim's car, so obviously he's still...
Whoa! Lim, hold on to it.
He's gone wide.
Jeez, man. Oh, he's held on to it, but oh my gosh, that was very close. Again, people just... I don't know if it's lack of concentration or just understeer, but they just cannot... Oh, he's very wide again. I think Bartolotti's got him here. He's basically on the grass. Well, that's very wide. Stay off the grass. Stay off the grass, Daryl. It's not for driving on, especially in these conditions.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just getting caught out by the lack of grip going up the hill. You know, that spot is normally flat in the dry, and I would assume it's also flat in light rain. But in this heavy rain, you're gonna really struggle. Oh, that very wide again. I think Daryl just out of
just overdriving the car at the moment. I think it's difficult for him to go. There's no colour. Oh, just
yeah,
the grass.
Yeah. It's gonna go very wide here. Yep. Yeah. Can we see the loopty thing as well, Glenn, if you don't mind? Maybe from on board in his driver cam, just so we can get an understanding of what it's like to be out there right now. So Lim dropping quite a few positions, just really having a bit of a nightmare of a race. But yeah, I mean, it could always be worse. I guess he could be in the garage repairing damage. He's almost had to do that a few times, but he's still alive and on track, so props to him for that. And yeah, I was also noticing Hamilton's stretching out the gap even further to 14 seconds now, so quite a big gap in there. And did we see Yao? Did we see Vincent get past Yao?
Yeah, what you find, obviously in the wet as well, because it's so difficult to overtake on the track in the best of the times, and in the wet, people are just taking he's definitely putting the hammer down there. Some people tend to just overdrive a little bit, which really puts you out of your rhythm. Once you get out of your rhythm, it takes about 2 or 3 laps to get your rhythm back again, because it is a specific rhythm, especially at this track in the wet, behind other cars with this spray, so it's easy to get thrown out. Here we go. Oh, here we go. He's gone through dizzy.
Oh, that's a, yeah, you're not catching that. As soon as it snapped back the other way, that's it. It's just gone. There's nothing you can do. So yeah, that's unfortunate for Loopty. I don't really know why that happened because it seemed like he was taking it normally, but in these sort of conditions, anything's possible, I guess.
What's his TC on? Was that on 2 or 3? Okay. Oof.
Lip, that graft again. Oh my god. Lip's just teasing us with just getting on the grass on the entry of the corners, which is not where you want to be on the grass. But yeah, Rondinella just struggling now, and he's become the cork in the bottle here with Raupi behind him, Piper following, McKellar just a little bit behind him too. So we'll see how much Rondinella's struggling, especially down the straight here, and see if he's got any sort of high-speed grip issues coming down this part behind Murphy, who also is running the Porsche, so quite an unstable car coming through this section of the track. But Rondinella looks okay, and because it is ZANDVOORT, well, that's the car on the inside. That was the BMW King, I believe. I thought it was a BMW, but I might have been mistaken. But yeah, I was just saying, with Rondinella, as long as he can kind of hold his line and just stay on the racing line, it's going to be hard for anyone to overtake him. So I assume that's what he's trying to do, is get the tail out, just trying to get that power down in the wet. It's very difficult.
Yeah, with the tyres, obviously in the dry when you're spinning, especially with the big slide that he had, you tend to damage your tyres, and you definitely lose that little bit of edge and grip. Do you have the same effect in the wet? Do you lose the grip in the wet, since tyres, especially in the wet, when you're using wet with tyres running this hard, they do tend to hold their grip for a very, very long time. So a slide like that wouldn't affect their tyres?
Nah, not really. So long as you're not running more than like an hour and a half. I'm pretty sure you can double stint wet tyres from my memory without losing too much performance. So,
I'm talking about if you slide it, because in the dry you tend to lose a little bit of performance if you slide it, if you do a loop.
yeah, even so, I've never really felt too much of over 1 hour. I've never, in the board, as my experience, even with a bit of sliding, it hasn't been too detrimental.
Yeah, I'm having a look down there. Having a look down the list here a little bit. One person that dropped out of, because I think he did qualify 12th right at the start, is Andy Bishop. What's happened to him? He's obviously, he looks like he's in the pits. Oh no,
with Ryan King. So that was who was stopped as well. On the inside, I'm pretty sure. As well as we didn't see how Vintner got past Yao. Just took a quick look back at the stream. So I'm guessing Yao made another mistake and Vintner was able to get through. So yeah, we've got Hamilton, Bettiger, Vintner as our top three right now. So Rondinella was up there, but he's dropped back a little bit after his little incident. And I would like to see what caused those cars to go to the pits with Bishop and King. So we've got Mr. Glenn on it right now, as we're almost halfway through the race, approaching that halfway mark, and the rain is going to continue until the end of the race. Well, very wide from Raupi. That's not the line you want to be taking, son. Almost in the sand there.
Yeah, definitely. But you can see there, Hamilton's way down the track there. He's almost got 3/4 of the front straight gap now to Vintigo, I should say. 15.2 seconds, and he's just doing it nice and easy. He's definitely got no one in front of him, so he can cruise for a while to go before he actually catches up to some back markers. He'll eventually catch up to the back markers, but they'll let him through, so he's just doing it nice and easy. Nobody in front of him, he's got no spray, and he's just taking it easy up the front there. So we're back onto Rupi here. He's trying to catch up to Rondinella. Rondinella looks like he's settled down a bit. Obviously the spin and a bit of the tag he had hasn't affected him too much. It looks like he can get the power to the ground and just drive out of turn 3 there, and he's going up to the corner where he had a bit of an issue, but he's changed his line down. It looks like he's getting a bit more grip, so he's just getting back into it again.
He's just sliding at full speed, running the curb, running the grass. That's very brave from him. I can't say I'm quite that brave, but as we get a replay here, Bishop part one apparently. So, yeah, we're heading down this twisty back straight. Again, not really a straight, but it is kind of.
Oh, it's gone wide. He's done a...
And, yeah, again. Yeah.
No.
Oh, very close.
He's got his foot on the brakes, so he's doing the right thing, but this...
Yeah, it doesn't want to slow down because it's on a low hot low.
He's...
This part two. So this is the final corner, I believe. Just trying, and there it goes. He hasn't hit anything, but yeah.
He's had enough. Look, I know that he's tried ACC Rally. Maybe he's doing a bit more practice with ACC Rally. No, he'll have a go at me later because Andy and I are very good mates, and he knows that I like to take the mickey out of him sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think it's just very challenging conditions for everyone. As Ralphie's got a decent run on Rondinella. I think Ralphie has a little bit better pace than Jaden at the moment. He just can't really stitch the laps together. He's just having quite a few mistakes. Obviously, the conditions are not helping very much, but he seems to have a little bit better pace at the moment. Just can't get the move done. Might have to wait for a mistake, which you kind of have to do here. So we'll see if he can pressure Rondinella into making another mistake. Is seeing the Ryan King thing, is this going to be the exact same thing that we've seen for the past 5 laps or so, where we just see people coming down this back straight and just absolutely losing it at very high speed? Yeah. Oh,
yeah, that's
just not even come back from him. That's... Yeah, you can...
Yeah,
under that
Damiano's chicken in the under the bonnet.
Yeah, that was a big crunch. The car just didn't even come back to him there, unlike Rondinello and the other people who kind of were able to... Yeah, that was 200 k's an hour straight into the wall, so yeah, it's pretty major damage on that BMW, unfortunately. And one thing I've also noticed is we have not seen a single penalty yet, so that's pretty good effort from all the drivers. Now, that may just be because they're taking it very easy because of these conditions, but I still think that's a pretty good effort.
Oh, there's Bishop again. Oh no, spin 3. Oh, no.
Yeah, he's just come back out onto the track. GTR not enjoying it.
Nah, he's going to probably crack it because it's my setup that he's got. He's probably not
you've given him a shocking setup. That's what's happened here.
Yeah. Well, because he was catching up to me, he's getting quick. I thought I'd give him a bit. Oh, here we go.
Oh, Ralphie on Rondinella.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Rondinella's going to drive it deep. Is he going to be able to hold it around the outside? Oh, he gets on the curb. It's going to be very close coming into tear. Ralphie's not going to give this in. Ralphie's going to stick to his guns on the inside. He's going to drive Rondinella wide, but isn't able to clear him. By the time they get to turn 3, they're going to run side by side through this banking, and I dare say that's the Mustang done. Yeah, he's just not going to be able to put the power down on the outside compared to that very cambered inside. But like I was saying before, Ralphie's showing pace here. Oh, Rondinella, hold on to it, son. He's held on to it. He's going to rejoin the track. Whoa, Ralphie as well, having a big slide. Rondinella barely holding on to it there. The car just getting sideways because he's pushing so hard with Ralphie sniffing his rear. He's just, yeah, having to do it with the damage he has from earlier. Oh, Ralphie, that's the grass. Oh, Ralphie's going to get overtaken here. He's not able to pull it sideways. He's going to try and hold it around the outside, but I think Rondinella's just going to sneak up the inside, and we're back to square one here. In this big battle group here, we got McKellar and Bartolotti now, or Bartoletti, sorry, joining this group. And Rondinella's taken back that position, not something I quite expected to see after his big slide and recovery there. But Ralphie again just making the mistakes. Ralphie just seeming to make quite a few mistakes here, not really able to get some clean laps in. So struggling with that form.
Yeah, but at the same time, look, kudos to both of them coming out of turn 1, side by side, going into, turn 2, turn 3, up to turn 4, obviously the mistake, and then obviously battling it through turn 8 and 9. It's side by side in the wet. That's some pretty good skills being shown by both of those two guys.
Yeah, definitely. The racing itself has been very clean. Ralphie's very deep. I think he's going to be okay from Piper here, so long as he just straightens down the exit, which he does. But again, just another mistake there, Ralphie. Can't seem to go a few corners without making a mistake. See if he can. I think if he can just get a few clean laps in, he will close back up to the back of Rondinelli. He just needs to look forward, drive to the car in front. Don't worry about the people behind you. Just put in some clean laps. And as well, he's, as long as he can survive, you know, oh, he's very wide again, but that seems to be the line he's taking. As long as he can survive in these sort of conditions, you know, survival will get you pretty far in these conditions with lots of people making mistakes.
And that Mercedes behind him as well, Piper, seems to be handling the conditions pretty well. I don't see it overstepping. Curb. Obviously, it might not be 100% as quick, but it does look fairly stable in the wetty, from what I can see. And obviously, you've got McCullough behind him closing up, and obviously you've got Dario as well closing up. So this is going to be very interesting in the next, say, 5 minutes if they can close up a bit more to see how these guys handle trying to overtake.
Yeah, and the one thing this is done, sorry, quickly, is just Murphy's. This has allowed Murphy to just extend his gap a little bit on Rondinella, and if he can secure a top 5, that's still a very good effort. I think that's his highest, will be his highest finish by quite a bit, so I think he'll be pretty happy with that if things end the way they are.
And Yao, is this his highest position so far? Because I think he said, or has he been up there before?
No, I think he's been definitely up near the top 5. I'm not sure if he's been P4 before, but I think it will still be. I'm pretty sure that'll be his highest result. Anyone can fact check me if they can, but maybe a promotion on the way possibly for Wesley, but still seeing quite a few mistakes, and he didn't quite have the best of starts to the race, so still a little bit of room for improvement, but. Watching Ben Piper here, like you said, handling the conditions, or these conditions, very well for Breno there for his drinking game. These conditions, you know, making it pretty hard for the drivers. So there's 2 shots for Breno.
Oh, there's Refa just clipping the grass again with his inside tyre there. But there's a little bit of a slide there from the Merc of Piper, but obviously he's just trying to put as much pressure as he can on Ralphie to see if he can try to get through, and obviously Woodby, I should say, he's trying to close up on Ronaldo for some more pressure to get some two-way action again, going into obviously turn 11 and 12 before they get back onto the front straight. How does he go through the corner here? Just not too much counter steering the wheel, just looks like he's just driving straight out of the corner, depending on how much you see.
It'd be nice if we could actually see what was going on in front. You just cannot see anything. I mean, it's just like a white blur in front, and that's about it. You just see the outline of a Ford, but not much more than that. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow if that's going to be my view behind Mr. Chris Cooley. So yeah, Piper holding onto it though.
Well, there's only one way to sort that out, isn't it?
Exactly. Ralphie getting very close to the back of Rondinella again. So Rondinella losing that gap that he had before, and Ralphie getting very close into T1, not going for the move, but braking incredibly late. He's sending it in pretty hard here. You can just see he's got that little bit of grip advantage compared to Rondinella at the moment, and Piper just not really able to do anything against Ralphie at the moment. It just seems like Ralphie's just again got a little bit of a pace advantage on some of the cars around him as we get this on board on the rear of Rondinella. We'll see where this Ford closes up and where it gets dropped a little bit. We'll see into here the Ford very good on the brakes with that new ABS that it has. Very good in the wet, I will say.
He's gone wide.
Oh, that's wide. That's on the grass. I believe Ralphie is through. If we can, get another angle. That's Ralphie through. But again, that's not the end of it. As we saw last time, there's still plenty of corners to make mistakes. So we'll have to keep an eye on this one, because I don't think it's gonna fizzle out completely here.
No, I think Rondella's going to fight it back. He has fought back before, so obviously Ralphie got through. Can he actually keep it nice and smooth and just get a bit of a break there? And if he can break that train a bit, then what happens? Looks like he's just trying to edge away. He definitely's got a pretty good run to there. Let's see what type of run he gets onto the front straight. car looks reasonably settled, no sideways action, looks pretty good there. Yeah, they go, oh, nice and wide by McCullough there with the Lexus. Obviously toying with fire there, putting the tyres on the grass, that's for certain. But yeah, Ralphie looks like he's actually got into turn one, and he's just, yeah, slowly just edging away. He's got a bit of clear view in front of him. He hasn't got too much spray in front of him because obviously he needs to try to catch up to Murphy. Oh, there's Rondinelli again. He's gone wide. Yeah, turn three, and Piper's going to look around the outside, but can't get it.
Not going to work there.
Nah, definitely
power down on that outside. He's going to have a look, but yeah, once you're on that outside on that camber, you just, the person on the inside just gets hooked around, and there's nothing you can do. But yeah, Ben Piper having to go here. He's definitely not shying away from this battle.
No, definitely not. He's doing pretty good because it's not often you see the Mercedes up there, so he's actually doing a pretty good job. Obviously, as we said at the start, the weather's a very good equaliser. So Rondinelli just needs to try to get his thoughts again and just start driving his line, slow in, fast out, and hopefully try to close back up onto Ralphie. But Ralphie's obviously just pulling away slowly. See, what is he? He's about 5 and so seconds away. Oh, here we go, race control. What is he going there? High chance. There we go.
Yeah, I think there's some chat going on between the OOR community in our chat. So hello everyone, and welcome to Split Yellow here at ZANDVOORT. Good news is the rain is going to stop in 30 minutes. Bad news is the race will be over by then. So we're not going to have any change in conditions, unfortunately. It is going to stop raining possibly by the end, but it's not going to make a difference. The track is still going to be incredibly wet. As far as I know, as we see a move,
it's a bit of a move on
this way. Yeah, Cameron this way pulling out on Kyle Willett possibly in the background there into T1. Well, we did get it done, I don't think. Not able to. The GTR is very fast. It is not quite as fast as the Lexus, I don't think, but it is still pretty quick enough to put up a decent fight against Cameron, who has had a bit of an up and down race. He got caught up in some incidents previously, and obviously struggling a little bit with that Lexus. Not the car you really want to take for these conditions. It's not really the car you want to take for any conditions, to be honest, in terms of having to drive that thing, but he's given it a red hot crack, so good on him.
I like the Lexus. Actually, I've got a fairly big shout out to Thermaltake. Thank you for sponsoring the Sprint Series. Great partner to OOR. All their gear's fantastic. I certainly do run a fair bit of Thermaltake gear into my PC to keep it cool. Maybe not as cool as the wet weather out there, but it's definitely cooler than what the wet weather is out there. Get on to those guys, they'll sort you out, and anyone who's looking to get into sim racing, it is very, very good sport to get in. It does give you a very good advantage. I know a couple of people that normally used to go to track days and they were suffering in real life and got into sim racing, and within 6 months they were able to take 1 to 1.5 seconds off their lap times in real racing. It's obviously not going to be like the top shelf in real motorsports like V8 supercars and Formula 1, but it does make a difference. It gives you, we've got a bit of a run there by this way. Can he do it under brakes? This looks like yes, he has. He's got it sorted into there, going into turn one, overtaking Kyle Willett. So get yourself down there, buy yourself some Thermaltake gear, and thank you for sponsoring OOR the Sprint Series again.
Yeah, I can say I do have a Thermaltake PC case. I believe it's the Versa, so I've got some Thermaltake gear in my PC too. But yeah, this away, moving up slowly. I think someone of Cam's caliber should be fairly quick, especially around the drivers he is right now. So see if he can make any more moves. 17 minutes to go. Tyres should be still pretty fine at this point. You know, there hasn't really been too much to wear them down. So in theory, Cam should be going pretty quick right now. He might have a little bit of damage from his previous incidents. But yeah, the gaps seem to have lengthened a little bit. The only real battle seems to be this one right here, this kind of close to the top 10 area. So we got Jake McKellar in that super cheap auto Lexus. That's a nice supercars sort of themed livery. I like that one very much. Following the back of Benjamin Piper in that Mercedes. Rondinella just slightly pulled the gap on these two here. Just yeah, able to stretch his legs a little bit after the whole Raupi thing that happened. And Raupi again is also pulled a little bit of a gap.
I just got a bit of a message that come across my screen there. Apparently, Andy Bishop, obviously, when he's come in to get his car repaired, he didn't select the right tyres. He went out on slicks. That's probably the third spin that he had. He was on slicks in this weather.
Okay.
There's a bit of a story that maybe John Redd did the same thing, but I can't confirm that. But I definitely can confirm Bishop. Well done, Bishop.
Look, I'm not going to laugh at that because I've done the same thing. I've started on slicks in the wet, so I'm going to keep my laughs reserved. We all make mistakes, and as long as you learn and move on, then that's all you can do. But yeah, I want to see the gap between Hamilton and Vettiger with 15 minutes to go. We'll have to wait till he crosses the line, but it looks enormous. He's basically going into T1. Oh no, that's not the lead.
No, he's coming into the second to last corner.
Yeah, he has got an absolutely enormous gap right now. 21 seconds to Vettiger. So, yeah, I think it was what 9 seconds when Vettiger got through the field. So Hamilton still put on 12-second gap in this race, just through consistent pace in that Aston Martin. Clearly, it's pretty strong. Vinton also got through quite a few cars to make his way up into P3. Yao and Murphy obviously dropped a little bit off the start, had some pretty tense opening laps and made a few mistakes, but still pretty good effort from some super drivers up at the pointy end of the field. So Hamilton here just continuing to stretch his legs. He's just going to keep putting in these nice, consistent laps. The car looks pretty stable. I mean, it is sliding, but it seems like everyone's doing that. So, you know, that clearly there's no way to really get around that.
Yes, I mean, you can just see him. He's just putting the car everywhere. He's just doing it at ease. He's flipping the curves, and yeah, he's got that on. Pretty much running it almost out to the white line. He's definitely got a lot of confidence in the car. We know Hamilton can definitely drive, but you know, to be able to drive well, you definitely need to have the confidence in the car as well. So we're back onto Thistlewaite, closing up onto Dario. Let's see how this pans out. Obviously, as the race has gone on, it looks like Thistlewaite has been just Dario's just gone wide. Yeah, commentator's curse. I was going to say to him,
curse.
Oh, Dario. Anyway, he's just made through. Look, he's just slowly but surely he's made his way through the pack because he did qualify down the grid a bit. I think it was about 16th and 17th, I think it was, in qualifying. He's just slowly but surely got through everyone, waited for mistakes and capitalised. Now, does he have enough time to catch up to McKellar with 14 minutes to go? Possible if his pace is good. Yeah.
I think he will. Considering McKellar's also in a battle with Piper. McKellar is a fellow Lexus, so he's going to have to put a move on. McKellar looks very close to the back of Piper there. If we could just flick onto them quickly. McKellar putting on some
three-way
pressure. Rondinella's dropped back now, so Rondinella's 1.7 seconds before, and now he's only 6/10 in front of Piper. We've got a yellow flag just up ahead, I believe. It's actually at this next corner. Or just on the exit, it's Paul Kranich. So yeah, catching back up onto the back of Rondinella here, Ben Piper, not something I quite expected.
Oh, big slide by Piper.
Yeah, big slide onto the stand. He holds onto it though. Yeah, I didn't expect Piper to catch back up to Rondinella as Rondinella looked pretty comfortable to start driving away, but hey, I'm all eyes and ears for any battles that happen. So yeah, we got to keep the entertainment going somehow. So these guys, all four of them here. So we've got Rondinella, Piper, McKellar, and Thistlewaite are going to be in a pretty big battle fairly soon, I reckon, if things keep going the way they are. With Thistlewaite trying to come through, clearly got a bit of a pace advantage here. He's caught up 2 seconds in pretty much a lap. So yeah, he's gone pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm wondering if obviously Rondinella's suffering with a little bit of damage to his car from the earlier spin, might make the car just a little bit more difficult to drive. And he's, trying his best. Occasionally he might be getting the snap of oversteer on the car because of that, but obviously it's making it very enjoyable for us to watch to see how these guys will handle it all. Definitely.
Of course, it's all for the content.
Absolutely, the content all the way. So yes, they're all starting to concertina here. You can see this one's closing up, colours closing up as well. So to get past here, obviously we've got to wait for someone to make a mistake and the more pressure you put on. You can see there's two different lines going in the corner. You can see the Rondinella takes a late apex where Piper and McCullough took a tighter line going through there. Different cars take the lines differently. Clipping into turn 11 and 12, the little short shoot until you get to 13, 14 and back on the front straight with pretty much 11.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow with seeing how slippery all these curves are. You do need to use them on quite a few corners, and it seems like they're causing some problems for these drivers, and especially like here on the exit. Oh, Cam, you see the two Lexuses just understeering and going very wide on the exit onto the grass. That seems to be their usual line though at this point. Piper has a look down the outside of Rondinella into P1, so clearly that Merc's got a bit of pace down the front straight on the McLaren, but couldn't get the move done. Obviously going around the outside is quite difficult unless you're kind of already ahead going into the corner. It's going to be very difficult to maintain that position, but Benny Piper's given it a go. He's quite wide on the exit there onto the curb. That's going to hurt his run. Mikel's going to close up now down this straight thing. It's not really a straight, but it kind of is. It's very twisty and has obviously caught out quite a few people so far during this race. But yeah, gap between the leaders now 25 seconds as these guys continue to battle, giving us lots of time for the last 10 minutes.
Yes, and obviously they're catching up to a back marker now. I'm fairly certain of it. Yeah, the back marker's just pulled out of the way. That's the other Lexus. That's the Lexus of Greenwich, isn't it? Yeah, Greenwich.
Yep.
Yeah, all they need to do is let's see if they can tighten it up and make it a full-way battle. It'll be very interesting with 10 minutes to go, but it looks like Rondinella gets part of the lap going and gets a bit of a break, and then Piper needs to close up, but let's see what happens under the front straight again. Maybe that McLaren's suffering with a bit of understeer. Looks like Piper's just semi-closing up there. Can the Mercedes get good drive, good turn into the last corner, which is turn 14, and just powering it down? But we know that McLaren's got a fairly good top end. Oh, well, big Piper again, which is going to hurt his drive.
Yeah, a lot of drivers seeming to get the tyre out there because it's so easy to do. Like, you're just trying to get a decent run and you just wash out wide and get your tyre on that grass. But I think Thistlewaite should have the pace advantage on these guys, and I feel like if he can get through Bekele, he could honestly be a threat to the people in this group. Like, he's been going pretty well. You can just see he's taking some better lines there, getting a better drive out of the banked corner there, but just can't really do anything at the moment. I guess he's just gonna, like you said, have to try and wait for a mistake, but he doesn't have too much longer left, so he's gonna have to start putting on the pressure as much as he can.
Yeah, correct. I mean, obviously, McCullough's obviously in the Lexus as well. We know that the Lexus has definitely got some good top-end speed, so obviously the only way he's going to get past is either A, he makes a mistake, or he gets really good drive out of the corner. But we'll see what happens closing up. Piper's obviously trying to put a lot more pressure on to Rondinella again. You can see the two different lines there. They both get the power on. Like I said, the car itself looks like it's handling pretty well for Rondinella. He's just obviously must be making just the odd mistake that allows him to close up on him. Oh, he's gone wide again. They're going into turn 12, but was able to get it back on the track. As I said,
yeah, Thistlewaite very, very close to the back of McCall now. He was basically pushing him through that section right there. If he can get a good run here, I dare say he'll be on for a move into T1, but...
he's a bit of a slide there by McCall, yep.
Yeah, both of them having slides there, and I think that's just going to kill Cam's momentum enough to make him not be within striking distance. But yeah, Rondinella running very deep again into T1, and also previously like we just saw, but it doesn't hurt him too much. you know, these drivers have been driving for 53 minutes in these conditions. There's probably some fatigue starting to set in here, so expect a few more mistakes on the way. It's very easy to just zone out this late onto the race and just make simple mistakes.
And we also know that the McLaren's not exactly good on the braking as well. It's probably one of the most difficult cars to pull up on some of the corners as well. But oh, here we go again. This way's trying to put a lot of pressure on McCullough there. Can he keep the pressure on him? The more pressure he puts on him, see if he makes a bit of a mistake. They're going into turn 9, coming up into turn 10. Can they? There's your turn 9 now. Can they get the drive out of there? Get into turn 10.
Yeah, he's taken some very wide lines and trying to like really get a good drive. But Michele can kind of just put his car in the middle of the track and just, you know, hold position, which must be very frustrating for Cam, who has another look into the chicane. So all he needs to do here is just get as close as he possibly can. That's good. But as I say, getting close, I mean, getting close also means you can't see a damn thing. So a lot easier said than done. Let's see what it's like out of the final corner in this big old Lexus here. Takes a wide line coming in to get that late apex, which he needs for to get out of the corner. He's got a decent run here, but again,
he's got a very good run. He's got a very good run.
He is. He's going to pull out. Michele's not defending, interestingly enough, so that's going to make that move fairly easy for Cam, and he just slides his way on past.
Yeah, he definitely got it under brakes really well. He controlled the car really well, and you can see lap after lap, a lot of these guys are actually pulling out of the slipstream down the front straight there to actually pinpoint the braking zones, because it's not easy, especially behind all these cars. But that was a great move by Thistleway. Now, obviously, next person he wants to try to overtake is Piper, and see if he can put pressure on both of those guys. But I think Piper's car's handling pretty good. I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult, in my opinion, to get past, because that Merc definitely, in my opinion, looks like it's getting reasonably good drive and handling. It's not really sliding or making too many mistakes. Hopefully,
the only thing though is that Cam's Lexus should be quite a lot faster down that main straight.
His contact's just gone wide again.
Yeah, Steve goes mid end. So now if Cam can just maintain that sort of 2-3/10 distance onto the main straight, he should have Piper, because the Lexus is one of the hardest accelerating cars in the game, whereas the Merc is kind of, it's just meh, you know, it doesn't really go like
a yellow flag there going into turn 1.
Yeah, that is a yellow flag. Back to pits. It's not someone in the top 23, so I'm not exactly sure who it is. We'll see if Ryan King has gone back to pits.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Or Cam's didn't quite make the apex there, and he's going to pay for that on the exit. So this run is not going to be the one for Cam. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, they are different cars now, so in theory there should be a bigger difference sort of in performance here. Different parts of the track.
I just got told the message there that Ryan actually blew his engine up.
Oh, that is possible in the BMW actually. If you downshift too aggressively, and I know this because I've done it myself in the Monza Enduro. If you downshift too aggressively, the BMW, I don't know what it is, it locks the wheels and the engine just over revs like crazy, and you can blow your engine up. So that's Ryan King's day done, I think.
If you can find it, it's worth putting it on, because not many people have seen that. I've never seen an engine blow. I know of it. I've never seen it. I've never been anywhere near it. But Piper's having a really good look at Rondinella there. It's got a good drive, and this is just concertinating everyone up and allowing Cameron to catch up on to these guys as well. And McCullough's getting a bit interested. This is going to get a bit of a slide there by Cameron. Trying to get the power, trying to get the drive out of turn 10, going down to 11. Popper's getting very interested on Rondinella again. Let's see what happens.
He might have a look here, or he doesn't. Oh, that's going to be very deep from Rondinella, I think. Yeah, he's on that inside curb. It seems to have worked out okay for him though. But yeah, Rondinella braking very deep there, and those McLaren brakes not doing him any favours here. Now Thistleway again very close to the end, back to Piper. We'll see if he can get a decent run onto this main straight here. He's got the dirty air and the spray, which is going to make it very difficult. But if we get the overhead view, we'll see what the gap is. Oh, Piper's actually got a very good run on Rondinella here. Rondinella's going to have to move over to the inside and defend into T1. Thistleway's going to lick his lips watching this. He's going to try sneak down the inside. He's, yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I saw it coming from a mile away, and he's now snuck up into right behind Rondinella, which is funny because these guys will probably be in the same voice chat, both Rondinella and Thistleway, and I doubt any of them will want to give each other an inch. So I think Thistleway's going to give it to Jaden here. He's not going to hold back, and he's going to try and get past. Jaden played that pretty well, just went to the inside, forced Piper to the outside. Not much you can do on the outside there, as we've seen. You just can't get the drive off the corner, and there's no camber to help you. So yeah, very, very difficult one for Piper there, but he's still in for a shot here of a decent placing if things.
Letters on the final lap.
And yeah, Liam Hamilton now across the line for the final lap. Sorry, Liam, there's a lot of action going on behind you at the moment. I'm sure he understands. He's pretty much been driving solo hot lapping for this whole race.
He's boring out the front there. He's been boring. Just
yeah. He should have done a content drive-through or something to make it interesting. Start from the back.
Yeah, maybe. But obviously, Cameron, if he gets a very, very good drive coming out of the last corner, that Lexus is quick enough to overtake that McLaren with one more lap to go. So technically, he's got one more. Ronald's just cooked that a little bit. So Cameron's got. Can he stay within that couple of tenths? Depending on the drive they get out of this corner now, can he get the drive going on to the front? Oh, Rondinella went a little bit wide. Did that compromise him? It's a bit of a slide by Cameron as well. These guys are pushing hard. They definitely want that spot. Absolutely. Did he get the drive on him? He's looking.
He's going to have a look here, but I don't know if he's going to be able to actually engineer the pass into T1. He's not. He's just having to step back a little bit. Quite enough, and McKellar just giving a bump to Benjamin Piper in the background. I saw that on the corner of my screen. Just not able to get through as well. Clearly that Lexus very good down the straight and on the brakes, so that is an advantage, but unfortunately Cameron has exhausted all his opportunities to overtake at turn 1, so if he's going to try and find a way past Rondinella, it's going to have to be some place between now and the final corner.
And Hamilton's coming down the front straight to finish his race. Time is finished, expired. Here he goes.
There he goes. You'll notice there quickly the finish line is not too far down the straight. So some tracks you might be able to slipstream past the person to actually get the path done before you cross the line. But here, that's highly unlikely. As Rondinella takes a very shallow line there, he's compromised himself a lot, and Cam Thistleway is going to drive right back onto the back of him. You can see the difference in lines here. Thistleway's taking...
Degar's coming across the line for second place now as well.
Yeah, Vertiger's crossed the line in second. But I think Thistleway's going to have to figure something out pretty quick here. He doesn't quite have the gap he needs. He's going to try slipstream past him. He's going to have to be real close, which I think is going to be his only opportunity here. But yeah, I think Rondinella's just been able to put the power down well enough to keep Cameron at bay here. As well, Wesley Yao finishing the race in P4, Harry Murphy in P5, Ralphie in P6. And then we got these...
Oh, big slide!
I think that was a celebratory drift. Cam's going to get close, but not going to be close enough. 0.055 I think behind, or 0.06 behind. So Rondinella almost gave it away with that celebratory slide, but not quite. I think he knew he was kind of safe. If the finish line was another 50 meters down the road, the answer might have been a little bit different. But yeah, the Ibrahim Bank coming in P16 for the AM win. So you got the donut occurring and Liam Hamilton crashing into a McLaren.
Very interesting race. Yeah, not many incidents to view other than obviously a couple of guys doing donuts. No one, I don't think there's not one pin. Yeah, well done, gentlemen.
Chat, not a single penalty. So clearly the rain settling everyone down a little bit. We'll see if that trend continues tomorrow with split red, split blood. We'll see if the stewards will have to make up for some of the lack of action tonight tomorrow.
So overall, we've got obviously Hamilton in first, Vinegar in second, Wittner in third, Yale in fourth, Murphy in fifth, Ralphie on sixth, Rondinell in seventh, Thistlethwaite in eighth, Piper in ninth, and McCullough running up the top 10. We go into silver. Yale finishes first, Murphy second, Piper in third. In Pro-Am, Kyle Willett in first, Speckley in second, and Preciado in third. And in Am, you got Bank in first, Simpson in second, and James in third. Wow. That was some pretty nice close racing there, especially in the wet. It kept us entertained right through. There was a lot of battles there, especially from around about 5th all the way to about 10th for most of the race. Obviously, Hamilton, brilliant drive by him. He's just taken off at the front. Regardless if he had the pole position and took off in first, he did drive very, very well. And yeah, the gap was at the end, it looks like it was 29.2 seconds, so well done to him.
Yeah, Hamilton just commanded that race. And yeah, we're gonna I'll just do a quick driver of the day if you don't mind, Glenn. I think I'm gonna have to give my driver of the day to Vintner. He came from fairly far back in the group. I think he was maybe P6 or P7, and made his way through the traffic. Did an awesome overtake coming over the back on Harry Murphy down that straight. I think that's definitely a contender for thermal overtake of the week, and yeah, pulled off a pretty tidy race.
Yeah, my drive of the day. Look, I'm going to go to Murphy. You said to me that was the first time he was at the pointy end with some very fast guys there, with definitely a very wet race and at a track that's very hard. And I think he's done very well. He did get past a couple of guys there, so I'm going to go Murphy, especially if it's the first time, especially in the top 5 there in my books.
Yeah, definitely. It was a very strong race from those people, but we're going to head to a break now. Stick around, everyone. I believe we have iRacing next at some American track, Virginia, VIR. So that's a pretty interesting track. You don't see it much on many games. It's definitely not on ACC, but yeah, stick around for some iRacing. Yeah.
See ya. Hopefully that wasn't too painful for you there, eh?
No, that was all good. That was, yeah. I mean, we didn't have any lack of entertainment, so. Especially for Zelda's standards.
Yeah.
Welcome everyone to Thermaltake's iRacing Series here on Octane Online Racing for Season 1, Round 4 at Virginia International Raceway, personal favourite of mine. Great to see here people here on iRacing. I'm Cameron Thistleplate. I'm joined by Zach Jensen, and we've got lovely Glenn on the cams as well. Zach, how you doing?
Doing good. Kind of happy to see a very dry racetrack today.
Yeah, it's quite a contrast from what I've just seen as an absolute monsoon of the Dutch land of ZANDVOORT. But yeah, it looks quite sunny out there for Virginia International Raceway. Quite hot as well, from what I've heard from the people out there in practice. We're looking at very high temperatures, potentially in the 50s for track temperature. So yeah, got to be toasty and got to be rough on those tires. But great to see a lot of people out there, Mustangs, GTs. So you have to forgive me. This is my first time here on the iRacing Series, a bit last minute, but this is a bit of a legendary track. Any thoughts on the Virginia, Zach?
No, actually, I haven't really driven on it. Definitely an interesting layout that I am looking at. So I think it definitely should make for some good racing today.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very hot, very demanding track as well. Kind of a little bit old school, but also quite technical as well. Very bumpy, very undulating, as you see here as we follow the Mustang, I believe, at Chad Bedford Bridge along the back straight, going into the turn 14 and 14A, according to my tracks map. It's kind of a 1-2 whammy. As you see here, they kind of have to brake, then go over the left-hand crest, and then turn it down into this right-hander. It's quite a hard apex to hit, as you can see there for Chad. And then into 15 and 16, mostly kind of numbers here and there. As the roller coasters, the section that we just went through, and then another sort of down undulating series of corners onto the sort of back straight, but it's still got quite a curve to it as well. So very demanding on the cars and the tires and the drivers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As we did see there, that Petherbridge might have tried to get out of the way of a couple of cars, but inadvertently might have caused himself a bit of shenanigans through the NASCAR bend. But yeah.
No worries. We'll follow Chad for a little bit as I believe we're under quali right now as we just ended in the practice. Be interested to see what times out at the front, and very stacked field as well as from what I've seen in this iRacing Series. Great to see all the participants out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe we're on I want to say a regular enough field, about 25 to 30. So definitely healthy grids for the first real season of iRacing.
Yeah, good consistency as well.
Well off track.
Yep. Oh, Chad not paying attention and almost hitting the tire stack as well on the right. I wonder if he's trying to stay out the way and let some of the cars behind go as well. As not too sure what the Audi is. I've seen those cars before, but I'm not too familiar with the custom liveries and who's who right now. As we wait to try and sort out our overlay right now, we're working on it.
Yeah, as we're having some minor overlay issues, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head who that was. I believe it might be Cook. I believe he's in a Honda. He's in an Audi. See the 770 Porsche here getting a little impatient for Petherbridge to get out of his way, but it looks like Petherbridge about to start his next lap.
Yeah, going to be a little bit tricky for people in his qualifying, and if you're on a valid lap, I'm not sure if Chad was still on, but it looks like the Porsche is just going to take matters into his own hand and go up the inside. It looks like one of the Mosaic Motorsport boys in the Porsche. I just saw from the rear wing there. So great to see, as I said, like all the different kind of cars that we got here in iRacing. As I said, it's not a sim that I kind of partake in, but still got a good spread of cars, like the updated Aston Martin, such that we're kind of missing in ACC as we kind of transition. Potentially do we go iRacing, do we LMU, or kind of do both? To be honest, because I feel like that's what we're kind of aiming for this year as well, with good participation on both series. But ACC still pulling in good numbers, and we're still kind of filling up 2 splits right now, as well as obviously all the Academy series in the backgrounds that's been run by all the lovely people, headed up by Mitch Hobbs as well out there. It's great to see those guys still getting good numbers on the Academy series, and ACC still going strong. So decisions for some of our head admins at Octane.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've recently started getting into iRacing myself. I got given a 12-month subscription through other means. But yeah, no, ACC definitely still kicking around, even if it is all but confirmed to be dead. But you also, I guess, you still get a few of the older cars in the ACC that you don't see nowadays, like the Bentley and the Nissan, all that. The cars that are like some of the most fun, if you ask me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a left field choice enjoyer. Like I said, I'm piloting the Lexus because I've never have done, to be honest. Until if it's going to be, I'm thinking it's going to be my last ACC or Octane season, as I kind of switch to LMU coming next season. As Chad struggling to keep the car in the track limits, and I wonder if he's a little bit distracted. Maybe he's got a stream up or anything like that right now. But yeah, kind of a. Yeah, ACC's kind of got a few of those little beauties of the GTR, the Lexus, and the Bentley as well. Three very definitely the GTR and the Bentley are two particular favorites of mine. It's sad to see them not actually really represented in any current modern day sim. Probably R Factor, I think, is the only one that has the Bentley. But it's sad to see, but that's the way it goes. They're kind of dead machinery.
I was gonna say dead machinery, and I believe it's also a different sort of iRacing takes over after a different sort of IRL league in IMSA compared to SRO. So you don't obviously normally see those at IMSA. So
no, not at all as well.
I know. You don't see a lot of Audis nowadays either, because obviously Audi's pulled out of IMSA, so iRacing has sort of removed a lot of IMSA, a lot of Audi usage, I guess, for a lot of things. But still, the GT3 still gets used here, so we're happy to see him.
Yeah, that's the kind of beauty of it. And it's kind of the same with ACC, actually, with the GTR and everything like that. Those cars haven't been run for a while in the series that ACC represented, but because it was, they kind of got in from the start, means that the beauty of the sim means that they kind of being consistently still run along. They don't have like an end of life, so to speak, as the real cars do, because literally some of those cars are actually coming up to the end of their homologation. In real life, so they actually can't even be run in some of the official series, even if they had the backing and support. So that's things have a bit of an end of life. But we've got our timing tower back up, and it looks like we've got Lucas Keys, followed by Josh Holmes, followed by Tim Purcell, making up our top three from Porsche, from Audi, from Aston Martin, along with Josh Strick and John McAdam up there to make the top five. Switch that. Patrick Johnson's just put his Porsche up into P4 on the 45911. Appropriate for a Porsche.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, obviously it looks like Petherbridge had been struggling to get himself a lap, but he finally got one down. As we see, Dreyer up in P8, Chris Taylor in the Audi, so it may have been Taylor actually instead of Cook that I'd seen.
Yep, and a few boys out there as well. Chris Taylor, Leo Dreyer, Aaron James. There's a few new names to me, and I'm sure some maybe newer names that people have strictly kind of been in iRacing and maybe kind of been drawn to the fact that we now do iRacing as well in Octane Online Racing. So it's great to see some new people coming into the series, as well as some people completely obviously transitioned over from ACC. Haven't seen Glory Babby really too much in ACC since we've done this iRacing series, so it's understandable, and people have got a finite amount of time. But yeah, interesting. We've got Jaden Rondeau there at the bottom. He's kind of just jumped in straight from ZANDVOORT as well. There's a few boys out there that I think are coming straight from ZANDVOORT, but I know Saxon Hayes is kind of learning the track as he's out there as well. So, but quickly finding time up in P14 in the Mustang, just behind Jonathan Hislop as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, another name like Klopper. You haven't seen him around very much lately until iRacing kicked in. Brickley's similar, but it is a very considerable stepping stone, I'll say, to go from ACC to iRacing. The different feel of both sims gives you a little bit to get used to.
Yeah, I can imagine. I don't really play iRacing, but I do dabble on the Le Mans Ultimate as well, and going from that from ACC, it's you do have to kind of readjust a little bit. There's a little bit more kind of like the way that those games do force feedback through the wheel and through the car as such, and kind of depending on what kind of cars you drive, with Le Mans Ultimate, a little bit more of a wider spread of machinery with different classes over ACC for the most part with its prototypes. But we're following here Josh Holmes, Not too sure how his lap is going right now, but he'd say he's really attacking the track with some gusto and filing down the back straight. Good to see the Audis definitely seems to be going a lot stronger in this game than it is in ACC, but still, actually, you know, there are certain drivers out there getting more out of it than most, to say the least. But he comes now into turn 14 and onto the roller coaster. Looking pretty good, keeping it nice and clean, which is kind of what you have to do in the Audi. And the South African driver fires it through the last couple of corners onto the back straight and coming up to the timing line, past the DRS boards, which don't apply to us. And we'll see what lap time he does as John McAdam goes up to P2. Looks like it is still going to be potentially P4 here for Josh Holmes right now. 1/10 off, 1/10 off P3.
Yeah, absolutely. Lucas Keys there has definitely put himself in a good spot, 2/10 up on McAdam. Rhea now put himself back in the P8. I'm seeing, I don't know if it's just me, I'm seeing a lot of Porsches in this field. So it's obviously the favorite, I guess, of the league.
Yeah, definitely one to watch. I think we're missing game sound. Thank you for letting us know, Liam Hamilton. We're working on it. We've got a few issues. We're just getting our overlays back up and that. Don't worry, we'll get it sorted out. And you know, maybe we should get Liam Hamilton in here, considering he decimated my split right now. Probably finished and, you know, had his gloves off and dinner made before we even all finished across the line. Banning the Aston Martin. It's clearly the Aston Martin. It's you know, Liam's a D tier driver clearly.
Yeah, I think we might have to check his PC on that, but no. Liam Hamilton absolutely cleared the field.
Like two sectors, I think, ahead of where I finished. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
it was unreal.
I believe it was 30 seconds to P2. So yeah, I think he was gone and up and gone in like the first 10, 15 minutes as well. So he was in a league of his own tonight.
Yeah, saw him doing those kind of times in practice, and it was dry, and then came the rain, and not sure how much that affected him, but clearly didn't hamper his pace, as Josh Holmes looks like he isn't going to improve, and it's going to be the last runs from everyone, but it is still Lucas Keys, pole position for car 22 on provisionally right now in the Porsche, and John McAdam in the Mercedes just behind him with 2/10 as well, and coming to file in. I'm not too sure if everyone will need a pit stop come the race. We'll kind of wait until then. It's not the full length 60 minutes, but it is going to be 45 minutes. Throw me a Lexus setup, Cam. Oh, the Lexus setups I had were tricky, but I think it was just the car, to be honest, and the squidgy thing behind the wheel. Yeah, I kind of learned how to drive in the race, to be honest.
Yeah, as we get the last couple of people coming through to finish their laps, we've got like Klopper and Hislop are probably just running on the back straight at the moment. Yeah, the final two, see if they can improve their times.
Some amazing insights from the in-game chat right now, as well, on their opinions of some corners. But it looks like we got the last couple of cars. I think that's Hislop and Klopper as well, just circulating to finish their laps. I'm not too sure if they're going to improve, but it is going to be, looks like it's going to be Lucas Keys from John McAdam, from Patrick Johnson. So yeah, Porsche 1, 3, and 4 in the top 5. So pretty strong showing from the Porsche, as well as a couple more down in P7 and P8. So 5 Porsches in the top 10. And a couple of Audis, 1 Corvette, and 1 Mercedes as well. But I wouldn't count off John McAdam. Definitely some strong showings from all the guys out there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're still getting this sound organized, so don't worry about all the shenanigans you keep seeing on stream. But yeah, no, it's definitely a case of very dominant for Porsche, very domineering in the field. The other thing we don't have in ACC is the Corvette.
Yeah, represented in LMU as well, both in GT3 form in this, and the Corvette C8, with its kind of a flat pane cross-plane engine. I forget which one's which, but it doesn't have the rumble of the old Corvettes. nice to see at least 2 of them out there, from according to the time board, and piloted by Craig Hill and Aaron James in P10. So quite a tricky beast when I drove it in LMU. I'm not sure if it's still the case in iRacing. I wouldn't be the one to ask on that, but definitely a bit of a fickle car. It's a bit like the Audi, I found.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I believe like the cars are probably, I guess, a little more muted, shall we say, with the iRacing physics compared to ACC, but they are still their own special machine. Seem to be going back to ACC real quick. The superior sim, don't mind us.
Change your plans.
Don't mind that. We're just trying to get out of ACC.
Yeah, working on everything. They have to bear with us. I have to be a task manager.
I didn't realize with Virginia they lined up in the pit lane before they went out for their outlap.
I was going to say, if you didn't know, I have no idea. I'm not familiar with iRacing. I'm not sure if that's something as well that's done in IMSA or real life. It's definitely kind of weird. But I have to say, like, considering you've done I mean, do we do the short formation or the full formation on the iRacing series?
I believe it is a full formation lap, just like we do with ACC.
That gives us some time.
However, it's not dictated by the first position. It is dictated by an AI safety car.
Ah, fancy.
Obviously, the other difference, which runs similar to LMU, is obviously there is full contact under the warm-up.
Yep, something that always catches the odd new person out, but it looks like they are going to get away from the pit lane pretty shortly. But yeah, just to round off the top 10, it's going to be Lucas Keys and John McAdam on the front row, from Patrick Johnson and Josh Struick on the second row for a couple of Porsches. Josh Holmes heads up Tim Purcell on row 3, Glory Babby ahead of Leo Dreyer on row 4, and Chris Taylor and Aaron James on row 5. And it looks like we've got 26 drivers out there as they do start their formation right now. And they all kind of spread out. Everyone knows there's the context, so I think everyone's going to just try and keep things nicely in pace. And maybe we kind of wish we had a safety car in LMU, because sometimes the formation laps are a little bit hairy, to say the least.
Yeah, no, they can be very difficult sometimes. But so far this season, obviously the boys have been pretty good with their warm-up lap. I don't think I've known of any contacts that have happened, so pretty good with it. Knock on wood, I haven't just jinxed it.
Yeah, some definitely fetching liveries out there, and then there's some definitely aesthetically challenging liveries out there. I'm gonna say Lucas Keys is one of them, followed by
ignore that one in first.
Yeah, and third as well, because I'm pretty sure it's Patrick Johnson's probably got Pepe car as well, I imagine, as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I know them too well, but great to see those Thunderdome Audis out there in matching colours. Him and not too sure who's the other Audi, Josh Holmes and Chris Taylor. So nice to see a nice patching pair of liveries on those ones.
Yeah, no, it's good to see those. It's good to see the as aesthetically challenging as they are, the 2 Pepe Frog Porsches, and the 2 Koala Atlas Beamers as well, of Robert Brickley and Donovan Klopper.
Yep, and they're kind of familiar sort of tan teal, sort of teal cyan colors with a bit of a red and blue stripe or black stripe, I believe. But still kind of getting around at Oak Tree Bend at the top. It's kind of similar a little bit to Road Atlanta at this part of the track, where it all kind of you have 2 sort of awkward right-handers, and then it'll be a long blast onto a back straight, but I'm not too sure if it's long enough to really get a move done at this track. It'll be interesting to see. trying to get a bit of tyre warm up. Should have sun now. Let us know in chat if everything's going as according to plan. And we'll see what kind of temperature it is out there, because obviously it was very hot from saying in practice, but I'm not too sure what qualifying and the race has entailed. But I imagine it's still probably quite warm out there. So we'll know how much tyre warming is actually necessary, but I'm sure they'll know best out there as John McAdam doing the last possible bit of tyre warming just before the straight. Any last thoughts from you, Zach?
No, I'm thinking this is just going to be definitely a fuel management, tyre management, especially with this heat. We'll get your thoughts on the winner for tonight.
It's going to be hard to look past Lucas Keys if he kind of doesn't become his own demon. He's to say one to watch. I'm not too familiar with this series, but I'm familiar very much with Lucas as the safety car, pace car as they would say in America, files back into the pit lane, and they're all going to be double formation side by side. And it's still going to be waiting. I'm not sure they're going just yet. No, they're already gone. I apologize. I was watching the lights, but it is going to be Patrick Johnson, I believe, up into P2 ahead of John McAdam. So the Mercedes falls down to P3 as they both go into the horseshoe. There's Lucas Keys ahead of Patrick Johnson, ahead of John McAdam in the Mercedes, followed by the 24 of there, Joshua Holmes in the Audi. Going ahead there, I believe, of Josh Stewart in the black and purple Porsche as the Aston Martin up the inside. I believe Tim Purcell on Glory Brabby just behind them as well, as Audi already having to defend a little bit just to stave off Josh Stewart, not giving any too many ideas, but definitely not the start that John McAdam would have wanted, as to run now through into the snake section. The sort of 7, 8, and 9 is kicking up in the air. There's a Porsche off, going into the barriers as well. Bumper off and potentially wheel. So I'm not too sure who that was. And potentially, I think it's Leo Dreyer, the South African driver, has already gone into the wall. Not too sure if he was assisted or all on his own. But a big contact out there. And, oh, yeah, straight into the barriers. That's going to be huge damage for Leo there. I couldn't really tell if that was a nudge or... And there's a couple of cars off in retaliation as well. But it's still Lucas Keys ahead of Patrick Johnson and John McAdam make up the top 3.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Very much crazy start through the snake. Ray obviously wasn't there. Looks like we also had Ricky, Gill, and Butler might have been involved in their own stuff afterwards. But Lucas Keys. Lucas
Yes,
Keys, 27 to 27, but Patrick Johnson will start to do it a little bit.
Yeah, looks like Leo Dreyer and Benjamin Higgett may have gone a tow back to the pits, hence why they're appearing at the top of the board. But you're obviously going to be a lap down on these, but it is going to be Porsche 1-2 out the front there. I do apologise for the start, but yeah, unfortunate for Leo Dreyer, and really going for a very large crash with the barriers. That definitely took his Porsche out of the race. Maybe he can get repaired and still get some bit of running out there. You know, let's not waste a night. But John McAdam here really under threat now from Joshua Holmes in the Audi, from the Thunderdome Audi all over the back of him as they go into the NASCAR bend under the left hook as well, and coming up into the snake up the corners. But the Mercedes really kind of struggling a little bit, maybe not firing up the tyres and got them in the right window to start pushing. But definitely the Porsches and the Audis really starting to show their legs and show their pace right now.
Absolutely.
Mr. Higgett in chat.
Mr. Higgett was involved in one of those incidents. Had 5 in that one shenanigans on the snake, so that is unfortunate, but hopefully they can get themselves decent enough repair and get back on it.
Yeah, seeing a few cars exit the pits. I believe that Jonathan Hislop and Jordan Butler as well in the Porsche and the Ferrari. Looks like they've rejoined a little bit far behind, but still on the lead lap. There's 3 cars of Robert Brickley also look potentially retired in the box in the pits right now as well. So Patrick Johnson still kind of trying to chase down Lucas Keys right now. These two in their chat, kind of pretty much teammates in there as well. So interested to see if Mr. Patrick gives Lucas Eddie a bit of a hard time. It's the Mercedes right now, John McAdam. We'll see if he can kind of find his rhythm and his pace that he showed in quali and start to catch up to the green Porsche, but still got the Thunderdome Audi definitely in his mirrors.
Yeah, as we see Patrick Johnson now, the fastest lap of the race with a 45.9. up, so you're definitely going to be there keeping honest with that.
I think that might be Leo Dro's just come out the pits, having maybe repaired his damage. It's the same colours, but it looks like he's doing his best trying to keep out of everyone's way. It's kind of unfortunate when you come out on the lead lap. There he is as well. Yep, got his car fixed, so definitely not calling it a day, but unfortunately going to be kind of difficult to get a good result out of this one. He'll have to rely on quite a lot of attrition. He does fend back into the field, but will be blue flag for most of the field to go past.
As they come out of the South Bend, they just stood at 1.6, second back to Justin the Mikado. But these two Porsches at the front are definitely got themselves a little buffer, but not comfortably out of it yet.
Yeah, we'll be interested to see how we go. You can see on the right side as well, track temperature 47.2 degrees Celsius, so still very hot out there. We'll be interested to see how these guys look after their tyres in the 45-minute race. I'm sure, I'm not too familiar with iRacing's tyres and how long they can last for, but I know in 47, anything near those temps, they're not going to like it. So I imagine everyone's going to be running quite hot. And definitely we don't want to take too much of the tyres out as early on as well. You've got to save some rubber towards the end. Yeah, Patrick Johnson really got a lot of pace right now, trying to catch up to Lucas Keys. Looking at his last laps, looks like Lucas Keys has taken the fastest lap back, so definitely a bit of a statement there to Patrick Johnson. But Patrick only 1/10 slower on that lap, so definitely not falling back to Lucas too much out there. Maybe benefiting us slightly from a slipstream just about with the distance he is to the Porsche. We've got Robert Brickley in the BMW who needs to keep his eyes on his mirrors. There'll be a blue flag car up ahead. And speaking of which, as I said, John McAdam really got under pressure now from Josh Holmes in the Audi.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty much the entire field up to around that 1 second mark between each other. So there's small gaps, but they're still comfortable. Definitely McAdam's podium to keep track of.
Yep, doing a good job so far, but yeah, I'd be interested to see how Josh Holmes, is not familiar with this sim, but I know the Audi's a bit of a consumer of tyres in the ACC, but it depends on really kind of how you drive it. We'll see how Josh Holmes reacts as well. He's got Josh Stewart not too far behind him, and they're going to catch the BMW Robert Brickley a little bit in the awkward spot, so this might be for sure. A little bit deep there from Josh Holmes, almost collecting the back of John McAdam, but just got away with it as well as John McAdam. A little bit stifled, I believe, by Robert Brickley here, but it should get him on this straight as Brickley does go to the inside and starts backing out. And hopefully let all this train go.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rough one to start for Brickley, but he's pretty consistent with the flags. However, in doing so, his involvement has allowed Stewart and Purcell to tag onto the back of these two to get a fight. Four-way battle for these three of them.
Yeah, looking like John McAdam and Josh were both in the 46s that lap, and with a little bit of traffic they had to negotiate. And yeah, Stewart and Purcell still in the 45s as well as Glory Babby as well, so still definitely lots of pace out there. And we're just still curious to see how much people are actually going to take the most out of their tyres, whether that's going to be a factor or not with these temperatures. As I said, not privy to iRacing's state of its, how much it really consumes the tyres, and the 45 minutes definitely will be a factor. Lucas Keys still doing quick laps between the two out in front, only separated by 1/100 as the Aston Martin of Tim Purcell gets so close to the back of the Josh Stewart's Porsche. Does go a little bit wide and campers his run onto the back straight, as you can see here. And just maybe losing out a little bit is Josh Stewart to I apologise, Josh Holmes. Josh Holmes really loving the slipstream of the Mercedes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be helping him keep in touch, but it's not going to do any tires. Pretty much help with the lack of cool air trying to get through the car. Not sure it's a cool low air.
yeah, hopefully not suffering too much. Back into the 40, yeah, still in the 460s for these guys. So yeah, kind of slowly starting to drop back from the leading two. Episodes only a few attempts here and there. Obviously, going to see if anything starts to happen between the front two. They'll definitely start to reel back a little bit towards these guys. But same can be said for these guys. Two P5 and P6 right now. There's a Struick all over the back now of Josh Holmes' Audi. See what like surely if you're like you McAdam here, you gotta be kind of expecting a move soon here from Holmes. But the Mercedes has got enough grunt to kind of keep it well and truly front, even with a slipstream to the Audi. So it's gonna be hard for to get a move done. And John McAdam, not a rookie operator. He's definitely been around the block a few times in ACC as well as now in iRacing. So definitely going to be hard to get a move done, and kind of going to rely on a bit of mistake from the AMG driver right now. Get the run onto the straight. It just has that pull as well off the exit. Good, getting that good exit is just really kind of keeping any kind of attacking from Holmes, kind of at bay.
Yeah, that's for sure. Definitely. And what McAdam really has to do is just get his car in the right spot and make things difficult for Holmes to try and make the move.
Yeah, it can be a very tricky. Yep.
Yeah, because in turn, he can be running 85-90% through most of these corners, so he has to justify with using his tyres. He gets these long straights, so he can just open as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, Josh Holmes, I think he's benefiting from the Audi's probably a little bit of superiority when it comes to the corners. Looks like they may have got a blue flag. Oh, he has a look at the inside, has a little jink, but it was just really there to scare the Mercedes as the blue flag red Aston on the left. Don't worry about him. It frankly doesn't impede these guys too much, but gave John McAdam a little bit to think about. I think as McAdam was maybe going for a little bit wide entry into turn one, into the horseshoe. But had a little bit of a look, but obviously nothing really came up of it. And these short, awkward corners, there's definitely a good pull there from the Mercedes. Gets a really good run, and maybe had a little bit of a slide there for the Audi that we were on board with. Kind of fell back a little bit. You can see there's two car lengths just in that.
Yeah, for sure. And you can sort of see between Johnson and McAdam there as well. 4/10 difference in those laps. It may be a case that he's probably coming back a little bit to try and hold these tires.
Yeah, absolutely, and it'll be kind of trying to read the body language of Josh Holmes' Audi as well. Like he's really pushing, like he really kind of ranges in those corners, and particularly on the entries, just the agility of the Audi right now. But yeah, kind of maybe stressing the tire a little bit. We'll see how he copes with it later in the race and try and not make an anthill out of nothing. But yeah, interesting to see with Josh Struick as well, just behind him as well. Kind of just, I think we're in a bit of a ticking. Everyone's kind of just ticking along right now, and then maybe once we start to get to the last 10 minutes, where if it's now or never, we'll start to see some bit more drastic moves.
Oh, for sure. We just come across 8 seconds ahead of Patrick Johnson, so Paddy's still keeping on the rear of him, but he's probably just keeping himself just comfortable. Both of them I don't know, that McAdam was near enough equal to Lucas.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that as well. Like, yeah, personal best from McAdam on the last lap, 666. Definitely not the mark of the beast, although if it was any car that was a beast, I'm sure the Mercedes would be a contender. But yeah, kind of really started to potentially maybe give an idea of catching up, but he's already lost a couple of seconds, I think down to 2.5 seconds right now. So definitely matching pace with those guys up front, but it's not going to, needs to be kind of doing a bit more time to try and range in. Track temperature almost getting up to 49 degrees right now, so it's only getting hotter and hotter. You can see the track is kind of, the clouds up ahead are kind of, lighting up some parts of the track and kind of clouding the others. And the Audi, sensed a little bit of understeer there from the Audi, and kind of just didn't want to bite on the turn-in. And I don't think he can use the curb like the AMG can onto the straight, so that might not be helping his exit too much. And yeah, might be starting to fall back a little bit towards Josh Struick right now.
Yeah, definitely with 4 tenths slower that lap for the homes compared to Adam. 2 tenths slower compared to Shred, so might have been just a bit of a rough lap. But yeah, so the homes really tired to get a little too warm.
Yeah, you can see he's still kind of closing in on John McAdam, so he's not like letting them get away at all. Now those three, Josh Stewart, the quickest of all of them, but all of them within a 2/10 gap as well. Just seen Aaron James in the Cadillac. I apologize, I have hiccups right now, which is really not going to help, but he's chasing down Alistair McLeod. Must have been a good start for Alistair McLeod because he wasn't in the top 10, but he's already now up into P9, just behind Chris Taylor in the fellow Thunderdome Audi. And they've got Christian Wells and Saxon Hayes now in the pink Porsche, and followed by the multicolored Mustang of Saxon. All for this fight for top 10 honours. Going well out there. It's not bad for Saxon, considering he just left the track about half an hour ago.
Yeah, doing well. As we hit the third mark of the race, he's number 1, Patrick Johnson second with 1.7 behind. And McAdam third, 2.4 seconds behind, and currently fighting with Owens and Stewart for that third position. Marcel P6, Batty P7, Chris Taylor P8, McLeod P9, and as you said, this fight here will be done. As we see that Saxon's actually dropped off the third down to that snake section.
Must have heard about the race.
Popper is actually on his tail.
Yeah, it's really kind of dropped back. Yeah, maybe he had a little bit of a retching feeling when he heard me praise him on the microphone, or just sensed it from the broadcast. But yeah, maybe a little kind of a distraction there for Saxon, a little bit of an error, but yeah, kind of dropped off the back of Kristen Wells, and as you said, Donovan Klopper in the BMW in those Koala Atlas Motorsport colours, just on the back of him as well. Great to see, like I said, like the variety. I feel like iRacing didn't have the variety in GT3 that like a few years ago, kind of that COVID, like it kind of had a kind of limited amount of GTs. Or it wasn't really kind of as up to date, but it looks like they've definitely kind of started to really rectify that. As the BMW, having a look at the inside, does he have overlap? There is slight overlap on the front bumper alongside rear bumper, and Saxon gives him the space, but holds it around the outside as well. There's a little bit of a half move there from Donovan Klopper, kind of just kept his nose in, but wasn't really getting it done. A bit of a slide there from Saxon Hayes on the exit, but still going to be up ahead of the BMW into turn 5 and now in 6, and focus on getting a good run and exit through these corners. But the BMW really kind of all over him. Really strong pace right now from Donovan.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if that last lap, Saxon has slowed down Hamilton through these sections. Sort of fell back into Popper's grasp, but oh well, there's the big movers so far for this race. Rocky Noah up 8 positions, 7 positions now. Clark has just passed him. Benjamin Archer up 9. Drea with that unfortunate lap 1. He's down 14 when he started.
Just praised Rondinella, and he's just lost 2 places.
He's got his flashbacks to.
Oh, he's crabbing. He's bent the suspension, and he's going way too quick. Watch it. He's gonna. Yep, there we go. It's gone. It's off. It's left, right, and just escapes the barrier. Hope he isn't doing that on his way to Albert Park this weekend. Yeah, replay. Thank you very much to Glenn. Same colours as Saxon, so kind of looks like he's in kind of his own gap right now. Oh, he's gone wide. That's okay. So has he done a Leo? Oh, never mind. I think keep going. I think he's done a Leo, maybe.
Might have, yeah. So we're still in the replay. We'll see what happens.
He's definitely gone in contact with something, because the rear suspension doesn't fail on its own, not in the simulator or anything. But he's crabbing his way back to pit lane right now, and yeah, as I said, was on to a good result, but now gonna have to kind of file his way back into the garage. Oh, is that Patrick Johnson? No, John Hislop.
That's
I apologize. Yeah, same livery, different car.
And yeah, no, Hislop must have had issues as well.
He was one of the cars who boxed early on the first lap, so he was kind of out in the mix, out of the mix somewhat, but clearly had some front end damage with losing the front bumper. Do our best to try and find that. I apologise, I didn't realise they were running the same livery as Patrick Johnson. Speaking of which, those guys still out in front. Lucas Hughes did the fastest lap last time around, and this time around as well. So as the fuel comes down, Lucas goes quicker and quicker. You know, this is his practice session probably as well, you know, knowing Lucas.
No, doing his own thing. He was just practicing something happened. That run. Times now back on the bumper of McAdams, so obviously those are sorted. Streaks dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, it really has the pace and kind of the direction change and entry speed in the Audi, but when it comes to the exits and obviously the straight line speed as well, the Mercedes really has the grunt stronger in the places where it kind of matters as well when you're the car ahead, and definitely going to be tricky for Josh Holmes right now. Let's see what he can do. Obviously, I think the Mercedes can use a little bit more curb as well. I'm kind of relying on my ACC knowledge, but kind of relying, and a little more curve there from the Audi. We kind of went for a benefit, and I feel like this is as close as he's been down the straight, but I'm not sure if it's really going to make a difference. And still only 2.5 seconds between John McAdam and Patrick Johnson as well. Was 1/10 quicker that last lap, so potentially, you know, P2 is still on the cards for some of these guys, you know, if Patrick runs into any issues out there.
Absolutely. It does look like as well that fight for P10 has spread itself out. Just well, 2.2 seconds behind Aaron James. Everything sort of seems to have stabilised in that area.
Yeah, looks like Saxon Hayes has fended off Donovan Clopper, and Clopper has fallen back behind Jacob Flabbing, also known as, I believe, Darby as well, in the Porsche. Quite wide there, and even wider there from Jacob Fleming as well on the exit.
I believe that's Drea actually. Fleming's the car behind.
Yes, sorry. I believe that's what I thought.
Yeah, that red one's Fleming.
My apologies. There's Leo Dreyer, of course, like you said. I wonder if he probably wants to unlap himself, and you know, we did see him qualify quite high up. So not too surprising if he's got the pace. We'll be interested to see what Saxon does, because he's not obliged to let him go. It's always kind of tricky when there's a faster car going up ahead, because you know it's kind of a little bit more onus if that car causes an incident by trying to unlap himself, but they're kind of entitled to do so as well. So you kind of got all the decisions to make up with the car in front.
Absolutely. Holmes is still 0.2 on the back of the Adams. Roundabout situation again, gets close, and then Mercedes.
Yeah, absolutely. Still kind of watching that gap from McAdam to Johnson. I feel like it's peeled up a little bit, and obviously Patrick kind of has maybe been left a little bit from you know, by Lucas. Maybe doesn't have the slight bit of slipstream that he was enjoying, or if anything, or maybe feeling the tyres a little bit more. You know, I think not to comment too much on Patrick's driving, but you know, we'll see how he can respond in all of that. Patrick's a very quick operator. He's a lot quicker than me. Does like to, speaking of drivers, that kind of goes around all the sims. That's although he doesn't do ACC anymore, so just has to you know, get used to LMU and iRacing. But I believe those guys are doing duos because they were practicing last night, so I guess they'll have to reinstall ACC.
I know there'll be quite a few also floating around on the Sims. Self ACC, you and ACC. People are sort of starting to slowly change Sims.
Yeah, just to comment on that as well, like we do have duos starting up, so if you want to get involved, do sign up, and we'll be starting on the 28th of March at Suzuka, obviously 4 rounds. We'll be going to the Nordschleife in April, and Misano as well in late April, and Kailame to round it off at the start of May as well. Always a very popular series is the duos round, and kind of brings a lot of people back. So yeah, get signed up if you want to be involved. It should be a good series, good run as well.
Absolutely. The enduros, even the big 3 hours that the duos do, they always bring out the people from the woodwork. Speaking of enduros, do we have any info on the actual enduros for the season? Alright, so nothing confirmed yet for proper endurances, but there is talk of a 4-hour iRacing enduro at some point in April. Sure as to April 18th, not sure as to where and what, but I've got word it will be the GT3s as per standard, however it will be at Adelaide Street Circuit. A lovely close to home track for a lot of people. We want to start the year.
That should be very interesting, as not someone who's really into iRacing, but do like the Adelaide track as well. Wish I had that in some of the other sims that I do run, but it should be an interesting race as well, 4 hours. I imagine probably most teams will be maybe 2 drivers, maybe even 3 if people really want to kind of share the run around. But we'll see. Details will come, I'm sure, in time. Keep an eye on the channels. Keep things going. As I said, you know, we kind of a bit of a transition year still right now. What we are doing, kind of building up these other series, and thank you to all the people that obviously kind of run and operate these series. All the admins and all the developers. Who was that? I think it was Patrick Johnson and Lucas Keys that opened the box.
Patrick Johnson. We have hit that sort of halfway mark now. So probably people are going to be probably just over halfway, and then get tyres. As we see, a lot of cars are coming in. As Lucas, Patrick Johnson, Struick, and Babs have come in this lap. Christian and Whopper have come in a couple of laps prior. Fleming, Clark, Archer, all came in the lap before that. I would assume that track changes over these tyres. The people that will start coming in. As we see, the track has dropped to 42 degrees.
Track temps really come down. As we've seen, there's a lot of shade out there, so potentially a lot more cloud coverage. Lucas Keys and Patrick Johnson are already back out on track, and I imagine everyone else as well. As I said, I'm not familiar with iRacing, so I don't know how long it takes to change a set of tyres or stop, or I would have assumed 45 minutes was doable, you know, based on other sims in terms of fuels and tyres, but clearly I'm wrong. Maybe there is a mandatory stop. It could be, as I said, I'm not versed on, not up to knowledge on all of this, but yeah, it looks like everyone's going okay right now. So it'll be interesting to see what John McAdam, Joshua Holmes, and Tim Purcell kind of do in reaction. We'll see what their pace is like. Obviously, everyone's kind of going to be on their outlap, so not doing representative times. And that's the theme in the changed tyres as well. You know, it's not really going to make much of a difference. The undercut, if they haven't changed tyres, I imagine, as the both of them file into the pit lane.
Yeah. Maybe a case of they had taken tyres. However, Patrick actually had gained on Lucas through that pit stop as well. It was about 2.5 seconds and now 1.5. Not sure if it is tyre changes or anything, but very
Yeah, I was going to say, the leaders weren't in for very long, so I don't know how long they need to change tyres. I get the feeling it might be just fuel, but I don't want to comment on it. Said they're already going as well. Yeah, we'll need someone maybe to let us know in chat who knows a bit more than I do. I apologise. Going well out there, so those two are filtered back into the track. Joshua Holmes still looks like he is behind John McAdam, who's definitely a lot closer actually to the two leaders, definitely closer to Patrick Johnson. It's all kind of closed up with the pit stops. You know, it was kind of 2 second, almost 3 second gaps out there, and it's all kind of gone back down to sub 2 seconds. And if they haven't changed tyres, it's interesting to see how their tyres react with these much cooler conditions right now. It's dropped almost 10 degrees from what it was earlier in the race.
Yeah, it's dropping that fast too. Cloud cover.
Yeah, it's quite substantial out there, so there's no sun on the asphalt right now. Not heating it up, no sun rays. But interesting to know, Josh Struick has fallen behind Tim Purcell. So Purcell did get ahead of the Porsche in his Aston Martin in the pit stop, so potentially maybe been a bad stop there for Josh Struick. He's really fallen off these two as well. Definitely kind of spaced out the gap a little bit. See the Porsche there, Glory Battery not too far behind as well in the 47 car. So I'm going to see how these two go right now. They're definitely fallen back, as I said, from P3 and P4, so maybe the podium's not on for these guys right now, but never say never.
As we see that Patrick Johnson has crept that gap out to McAdam back to 2 seconds, so let's send it back to regular scheduled viewing. Look at that.
Yeah. Patrick Johnson and Lewis Keys had a boxed a lap earlier, so they'll be maybe got their tyres back into the window more than John McAdam right now and Josh Holmes. Just petering on the edge back to 1.9. That's very wide for Patrick Johnson. I'm not too sure what the track limits would be like, but I'm sure that'll be on the cusp as a catch Ford Mustang up ahead. I'm not too sure if that is potentially Jaden Rodinella or Saxon Hayes. I want to say it's Jaden. Probably gets out of the way. They're all in the same Discord chat, in the TeamSpeak chat, so they'll definitely be on. They'll be on it, that's for sure. And to get him out of the way. And he goes very wide.
Looks like James also had a bit of a bang or something or something. Bumper being a little bit dented.
A little bit skew, getting flashed by Patrick Johnson, as well as probably in his ear as well, as I said on the same TeamSpeak that those three are in. Getting quite a few flashes as well, and gets out last minute. I think he was giving a bit of a tow there, which is not illegal. And sometimes it's best. Sometimes it pays to have friends out there on track.
Get free slipstream from teammates as needed. In the same Discord team speed. As Holmes has sort of kept that, or McAdam has kept that sort of 1 second gap to Holmes as well. So sort of even all that time.
So they're all back down to the 45s as well. They'll all be probably going. We'll see some new fastest laps, I imagine, with how much the track temp has dipped. It's considerably come down. There's a 12k wind out there, so there's probably quite a lot of clouds getting blown around, which might be a factor as John McAdam probably not enjoying getting the face full of Ford Mustang in front. He needs to get out of the way. There we go, as Jaden does. Josh Holmes will be just behind him as well. So 3/10 unfortunately kind of lost there. Whether it was all down to the blue flag, not too sure. Don't want to say, but definitely didn't help John McAdam. That's for sure.
No, it did.
You see, Josh Holmes has already started to really catch up as well. So yeah, I think it was. And McAdam being the big loser when it comes to negotiating the blue flag there. Still really close, all between. They're all pretty much still in this one camera shot. The top four. just about. Josh Holmes will be just below the camera right now. He'll probably sneak in as we get into this tight corner. There he is. So anything goes wrong, any slight error that you release with off track might dictate the podium right now. I'm expecting. I'm going to see purple. Surely someone's going to do a purple lap this lap around as they cross the beam. There's a blue flag up ahead, so it's going to affect things a little bit. There we go.
Does set the purple.
Fastest lap from Lucas, stolen by Josh Holmes. Yep, they're all doing PBs with the exception of John McAdam.
I also did notice that Saxon Hayes and Fleming have both dropped off the back of James for those pit stops.
Fleming's
has actually got ahead of Saxon.
Fleming's at the bottom. Looks like he's maybe had an issue because he's looks like he's showing up as retired right now. I'm not too sure if we caught that or missed that. The leaders here having to negotiate another set of blue flag cars. The BMW, I'm not too sure which one it is. I want to say it's Benjamin Archer. We saw Brickley is in the Koala Motorsport car, the colours. And might hamper the Mercedes a little bit. It does let him go, but kind of an awkward entry kind of hurts the mid-corner speed. But to be honest, like in these situations, you know, it's not too bad. People do their best to try and get out of the way. They can't just disappear. It's part of road racing.
It does appear as well as actually had a very bad lap.
Yeah, that's quite substantial. Yeah, obviously, it hasn't boxed any time recently. Jack Miller up to P13 did box lap 6. I think he was one of the cars that may have had a bit of a moment, or just a completely different contra strategy as everyone's kind of boxed around that mid-teens area. But up into P13, we didn't really see him earlier, so yeah, it looks like he's been plucking away, kind of doing his own thing in the past. Maybe reaping the rewards somewhat.
Yeah, no, very good shot from him. He might have just decided that P6 for whatever reason, and then just decided I'm going to go the whole way. Go off the whole race with him. To the final 10 as we see quite a gill. He just spins at the left hook.
Behind Jordan, goes for a spin. It's interesting.
That last lap, Holmes has dropped off about nearly a second that lap over McAdam, and McAdam's actually it looks like McAdam's had a very good lap that lap compared to the field.
Yeah, in the mid 46s, we did see that BMW. Maybe McAdam kind of got the rubber to green and didn't suffer too much, and maybe the other two had to lose a bit of time, but yeah, it's ebbs and flows, and obviously probably little mistakes here and there. But Lucas Key's 2.7 seconds ahead of Patrick Johnson as well, so I think he's the only one who looks safe right now. But it's you know, not too sure how it's going to go for the three remaining cars from P2 to P4. Let's see, it's quite a fight as well behind them as well. I think about 4 laps to go, as we got just over 7 minutes left, so yeah, 4 laps in the top right as well. That adds up. So it's now or never. They really got to close up those gaps. The thing we saw with Josh Holmes, like he really was on the coattails of John McAdam, but really not a lot he could do. It's a very tight, very technical, almost one-line track for a lot of these sections as well. Can't really go side by side without losing a lot of time, but it's going to be interesting to see how these guys get along. Hopefully it doesn't just finish in the way we see it right now. Strick definitely a little bit on the back as well. Purcell 0.4 saying it's the closest battle out there right now in the top 10.
Closest battle on track for spot.
absolutely. The honour for P5 right now. And taking a little bit wider line and wider entry in the Aston Martin. I'm not sure he probably wanted to take it as wide as he did. I think he was just a little bit out there. And lost a little bit of a run, but I think he's going to be safe enough from the Porsche down this straight. I think Porsche will gain a little bit, but definitely by the time they get to the back straight and roller coaster bend, it's not going to be close enough, but definitely closing in very surely. Early tight turn in for the Aston Martin, and Struik and the Porsche definitely going to be having a little bit of a thought. He's going to be 5 minutes left to maybe retake his P5 that he held for most of the race.
Yeah, as you see, the sun is coming down, so the track is already starting to rise.
Yep, going to be another factor in all this. Everyone's still, there's a few PBs still out there as well. John McAdams still did a new PB as well. Fastest lap still honours, still at Lucas Keys. He firmly took it back from Josh Holmes as well. Only by a little bit as well, so it's interesting. I think Holmes has got that pace in that Audi, but just struggling to make it work in the race as a result.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is the real battle we've got so far. Yeah. The battle for P11, but that's
There's a lot of track limits being explored out there right now. Lots of wheels in the grass, lots of stuff being flicked up. You'll see there the Porsche really closing in on the entry, but good punch as well from the Aston Martin on the exit. The twin turbo V8 pulling away a little bit from the Porsche, but it'll start to come back a little bit towards the Porsche. And you're punching a hole is that big Aston Martin with its Mercedes engine. And the Porsche will eke in, get closer and closer, but not close enough to really get anything done. The straight is just not that long enough. And definitely going to be interested to see how Struik tackles this one. Yeah, it's the closest fight on track right now. See if Tim Purcell will crack. Not too sure. He's a pretty steady operator out there from what I've seen, and definitely been a very good set of hands in enduros from what I've seen for the most part. Maybe you'll see him back in duos. But definitely, yeah, Aston Martin got a good punch as well through out the exit of the corners. Obviously the displacement as well to boot over the Porsche, but the Porsche ekes in through the corners, as we see a little bit of a slide there from Josh Struik. But able to keep these kind of tighter, carry more speed through these lines. But Aston Martin's still doing a very good job out there as well. And Glory Bobby just on the back of these guys in case they come to blows.
Yeah, as you see the top four again starting with traffic jam.
Not too sure. P6, yeah. So P16, I should apologise. Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah, may not have been able to go that whole way in second day. Right?
Yeah, box lap 21, so he's had to come in for a bit of a last-minute box in the last few laps, and Porsche a lot closer this time, I feel like. Is it going to be enough? He's going to close in ever so slightly, but they're right there getting to the braking zone this last possible moment. He's going to duck out and give the field the mirrors of the Aston Martin. No, not really close enough to get anything done. He kind of need to be alongside, and he knew it, so he kind of stayed behind, fell in line, and hopefully just keep the pressure on Aston Martin, force him to make an error. But Tim Purcell in the Aston Martin doing everything he can, and going a little bit wider as Josh Struik in the Porsche. Still getting a good run, a few more lap cars up ahead as we can see, so definitely could be playing a factor. Just over 2 minutes to go. I'm not sure. I think we'll have this lap and one more based on where Lucas is right now. It is a 1 minute 45 lap time, so we just crossed the line. I think we'll have this one and one more before the end of the race.
Wells and Clotter, they're basically side by side for that. No, Clotter has dropped off him.
I did see that it was 0-0 on the timing beams, and it might have crossed the sector line side by side potentially, but maybe an error there from the BMW. It's fallen back behind Christian. Come back to the battle here for P5 right now. Oh, it's Josh. It's the bane of the Porsche when they're trying to get a move done, and he's got blue flags up ahead, potentially fighting for position. Good run again there from the Aston Martin. Not going to be close enough, I don't think, for the Porsche to get a move done.
Yeah, no, I was about to say that these two cars ahead doesn't let Miller and Petherbridge are fighting for 15. Miller's going for it.
So he did get that move done. He was arrived at the apex first, kind of dictated the line. And Chad needs to keep it on his wits. And he doesn't impede these guys as well. As he loses that position, it's easy to lose your head a little bit when you just lose a position. It's frustrating. No one likes it. But yeah, coming onto the straight here, I love the dirt flick ups that iRacing does. It's a really cool detail. The Ford Mustang is ahead. What the Porsche will do is he's going to have a look at the inside, make the Aston Martin defend. He does defend. Tim Purcell goes to the inside. The Porsche's going to hold it around the outside, and the Mustang's around there on the exit. He just goes deep and goes a little bit deep. Not too sure where the Mustang was going to go. And unfortunately, that's kind of dictated that battle right now. Might be close enough to get a move done again, but a good effort there from Josh Stewart.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate, obviously. I think Petherbridge kind of realised that they were coming over the last lap, so he wanted to kind of get out of the way, but trying to get himself out the line, I think Stewart just was pulled out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think the Mustang did what he could there. I think it was just like, it's kind of a little bit confusing, like not too sure what that car's going to do until it happens. And when you're trying to go around the outside as well into turn one, I'm sure it was a little bit tricky, but you can see, I think it was just a little bit late on the brakes right now, but still, as I said, like top six is still, from the leader, still all about covered in the 10 seconds. You can see them just at the distance there. You can just see Lucas going over the crest. So it's a really close battle. Unfortunately, just really haven't had many moves done. It's kind of one of those tracks potentially that just kind of like, it's you can get really close fights, but maybe not a move done. But I believe Lucas is going to be around the last couple of corners and will take the win, I believe. He comes around here, 2.7 to Patrick Johnson, and will have the fastest lap at present. But Lucas Keys takes the win from pole position, and pretty much nearly led every lap until he boxed. But Patrick Johnson finishes P2, followed by John McAdam makes up the podium, and Joshua Holmes in P4 in the Audi as well. Joshua Stewart comes in behind Tim Purcell for P5 and P6. But yeah, good fight all around. Corey Babby in P7, and it looks like Chris Taylor will come in, make up the Thunderdome P2 in P8, and Alistair McLeod P9, and I believe Aaron James there in P10. So got a little bit of flair after the line. It's all well and good.
As we have Aaron James just crossed the line now for a solid P10. Started P10, finished P10.
Yeah, it's a tricky track. It's easy to fly off the track, but yeah, pretty good race. It was a little bit of a, didn't get too many moves done. It was a little bit of a, everyone's kind of following each other, but it was good to watch the fight and just to see how those are kind of doing their best trying to follow, because it's not easy to follow Aaron Batchelor around some of these corners.
And it did look like, from what I could see at the time, that Christian Wells and Clopper had finished 0.1 seconds apart.
Ooh.
And that was coming down to the very wire.
Yeah, close to Stencher as well. Yeah, Clark and Clopper as well.
Clark,
well done.
P13, Saxon P14, Miller 15 with that good move into the roller coaster, Petherbridge 16. Yeah, it's pretty much going to be the exact line. Miller 18, 17, Archer 18, Drea 19, Butler is up 20, Bricky 21, Gill 22. I believe that's all your finishes. I think everyone else might have been involved in race-ending incidents or had software issues.
Yep. Run out that, and yeah, as I said, they'll conclude iRacing for tonight on the split, and I believe They won't be racing next week. It'll be a 2-week gap until the next one. At Oberschleben. Yes. Oberschleben. Yes, it should be an interesting track as well. Looking forward to that. But don't go anywhere as well. Also, tomorrow night, Thursday night, we'll have Le Mans Ultimate, followed by Split Red on ACC, Mount Fuji track, Fuji GP for Le Mans Ultimate, and of course back to Zandvoort, potentially in variable weather for Split Red straight after that. I'm not too sure. Do we have any things that we need to cover, Glenn, before we end the broadcast? No worries. Catch us tomorrow at same time, same place.